third. Wait a minute. Whoa, 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 whoa. Also, what's going on, guys? The time has come once again for session not 1, not 2, but 3 of the package. Hanging out doing that Pathfinder First Edition Intrigue with our bi-weekly patrons, Tim and Adam and Jason. Thank you guys so much for your support. See this coffee? You guys bought this coffee, and it's amazing, and we couldn't do it here at Blackjack Gaming without you. Now, there's some housekeeping I suppose we have to do before the story can progress, but first, let's grab that 1d3. And Tim, MacLeod is first for that in-character reflection for the hero point. Last session 2 weeks ago was a pretty big session for MacLeod. Lots of things happened, lots of people were met. Lots of things were revealed to everyone but Adam, who dropped out a little early because he wasn't feeling good. So that's fun.
Crap. I'm first. I barely remember what happened. I remember.
Let's see what
we met.
You guys met a tiefling.
Yeah, we met the tiefling, and I tried to follow him, and that didn't work.
Because you like to kill people and take their clothes. Out of context, that's creepy. Even in context, that's creepy. Oh, well.
I mean, and then we ended up finding him, or he found us, and then we met like his group.
Yep, you guys were taken to the court of the meek.
Right. I feel like a lot got done.
A lot, yeah. You guys did a lot of stuff. You were right at the point where the research is going to start panning out. But I guess the big thing for MacLeod was MacLeod's identity was exposed as you went through that anti-magic field.
Yeah, that sucked. I was not... Well, at least one person didn't see it.
At least the other person with a different identity didn't see it.
So you don't know what happened. Nothing happened. Nothing happened.
If I remember correctly, you had your identity dropped twice.
Yep.
Yeah, that was the thing. Anyway, that's good enough. Taking your point. I am a generous Tommy. It's one of those days. This is like, in Missouri, it's 50 degrees in the afternoon, 60 degrees, something like for the first time. All the cats are sleeping, all the windows are open. It's a very chill day. I showed up to the hangout at like 1:50 because I kind of passed out on the couch with the cats because I'm cool. All right, Adam.
Remember we got into town. Then we met a Asmar with a pet mimic.
Yep.
That was weird.
Oh, yeah, the mimic.
Then we met an asshole. Tiefling. Who it's a very good thing that I don't know who and what he does. Or else we'd have problems. What's his bucket? Because I can't remember names. Trin got a blow dart from a frog.
Yes, he did. That is not where I thought that was going. That's all I will say about that.
And then I made a wrong turn and lost the party. So I went and did my own thing.
You did. Alright, fair enough. Again, I'm still a generous Tommy. You can have that hero point. I don't know why I have to roll until the other number comes up. It's arbitrary, but it must be so. Jason, take us home. In-character reflection.
We got into town after a week of traveling on the boat, having extreme nightmares. Got into town, among other things, met a tiefling, met his Asmar sister, who has the mimic and an herb shop. Let's see. The important things were there's some major friction starting between the Knights, the Eagle Knights, and the People's Council about what to do about the big baddie we helped produce. We went to the Courts of the Meek, found out that Myriad is actually one foxy lady.
Hey. You didn't know that. God damn it.
There is a difference between player knowledge and character knowledge.
You act like I
This is
didn't
player
watch the
knowledge.
session.
Yeah, that's also true. There's video evidence of it.
And after that, we got what information we could. I got a sword cane out of it, and we to the university and cut a deal where I got access to the library. And I am doing research out the wazoo while Myriad is doing the occasional parlor trick for the staff.
Oh, right. I forgot that I was a...
That is the payment. They want to study you.
I forgot I was a guinea pig.
You are. That you are. All right, good enough. Take your hero point, and now we have that not bookkeeping. I guess kind of bookkeeping. I believe I'd understood it correctly that you guys want a week to pass with Trin digging through the library, figuring out everything you guys can do and research and stuff. Is that correct?
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Okay. So then the first thing I would need to know before we hit that fast travel button is, what does the Gentle Reaper want to do? Over the
Go
course of the
around
week?
and do Gentle Reaper things.
Okay, you just want to like run around and kill folks?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, okay. That's not exactly where I expected this to go, but I'm not surprised. We'll make it a skill challenge. Let's have
It's
fun.
not just kill random people. I have standards.
Okay, sure.
Don't we all? Don't we all?
Oh, we all do. Let's, like I said, I'm gonna call it a skill challenge. Let me get 3 stealth checks from the Gentle Reaper.
Super small.
21, 22, 26. Good enough? Okay, so the Reaper is gone for a week. You guys don't see them at all. Meanwhile,
And that
Adam...
is appropriate.
Meanwhile, Adam... Tell the people of Twitch and YouTube. Also, if you're watching on Twitch, remember Black Dragon Gaming, your #1 source for Pathfinder 1st and 2nd edition. You can find us on YouTube. And also tell your GM, who are we killing? Who deserves death? Who has offended you for the last time?
No. So there's been a series of a long-standing rumor of a peeping Tom who would go around the city, and everyone kind of knew he just existed and they would take precautions. But over the last 3 weeks or so, peeping hasn't satiated himself anymore. So now women were starting to come forward saying that someone was in their room when they slept. They felt like they were constantly being watched.
What a dude.
And Gentle Reaper picked up this information as he's walking around town, just listening around. And then somebody came forward saying that they were raped. Gentle Reaper does not stand for that. So Gentle Reaper took more care, looked into it some more, saw him stalking his next victim. And so now, the stalker became the stalked. And as he was getting ready to climb through the window, the Reaper came, and he was no more.
You know, I think that's worth a second hero point. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead. By powers vested me by Paizo Productions in the Intersea region. That's worth a hero point. That was very good. That was very powerful. And I can dig it, and that's what the Reaper's doing throughout this week. Next, we'll go to Myriad, who basically is asked to polymorph. On command, bits of your hair, bits of your blood are taken as samples. People research you. Kitsune don't really appear this far south. You'll get them, as far as like in Aveston, you might get like an Ulfin who, like, a kitsune crossed the crown of the world and went to Call's Guard, and wham bam, thank you ma'am, and now there's a kitsune kid running around. Same with, like, Varisians, but down here it's just unheard of. So you are definitely 100% the topic of everyone's discussion, but you also have your freedom. You're not kept in a cage for a week. You are allowed to come and go as you please. How do you want to pass the week?
I guess I can help researching stuff.
Okay. That works for me.
Yeah.
So then, before we cut over to that, then, in that case, as you're making your way through the university, as people are poking and prodding at you, after the latest session of you being poked and prodded, you leave the building, heading over in the direction of the library, and Myriad make a perception check. Myriad finds a d20 rolling across the sidewalk, and we'll see what she finds.
Oh. See what that d20 looks like. What's that d20 roll on?
It's a red and blue with silver.
Oh.
That's one of the sets I don't have. Oh, yeah, it's good enough. So, looking down, Myriad finds the mask is obviously Tien in nature, and it appears to be like a fox's face in porcelain with little, like, red lines drawn all around it and little black beady eyes drawn in little, like, concave bits in the mask. You see it, and it also appears to see you, and as this happens, it levitates up and orients in such a way as to, like, onto your face. It stops at the last second, but as it does so, as it gets, like, right here, Myriad can feel her human side changing, not physiologically, purely cosmetically. Like, you look down at, like, your left arm, which is shriveled up and gotten real small, like, not unlike a goblin's arm, like a small creature's arm on a medium creature's body, whilst the right arm begins to calcify, not unlike what you would see on, like, an Oread. The mask off and kind of, like, floats down to land in, like, tug itself in your belt. And what this thing does is, once per this campaign, you can only do it once, literally one time. It's a full round action in combat. Out of combat, it's 6 seconds, but it will allow Myriad to change Myriad's cosmetically only human half of her kitsune form once. Anything from your race to your gender to, like, even just, like, cosmetic changes on your human form. Just a one-shot thing. Also, happy birthday, Tim. I can reach you. We live in the same city and are about to be roommates, so there's probably also, like, food at some point. This is the first time in a long time I've had a player have a birthday and not be, like, Canadian. So this is a thing. This is cool. And happy birthday to you. And now over to Trin, and I guess Myriad as well. Before the session started, I did some research into how Paizo wants research to work and how their rules work and things, but I don't necessarily like them. I think it's a little too grindy, so I'm just going to call it a skill challenge. You have 7 days. Each day is its own challenge, and the check will depend on what it is you wish to research. Trin will be the primary researcher, and Myriad's roles will be aid and others.
Yep, so I just need 10.
Yep.
I can do that. Maybe. I can maybe do that.
And there is one thing on my end. I have yet to use inspiration.
That's fair.
And for those people who don't know what it is, basically investigators get a pool of inspiration. It's half level plus your int bonus. So I get 6. Any knowledge I'm trained on, linguistics or spellcraft, if I'm trained with it, I get to roll an additional d6 on top of my d20.
Seems good. This is actually the first time I've been in a group or party or GMing for an investigator who will actually get to use this and not just be like a weird alchemist. So this will be fun to watch. Let's make it happen.
Okay. Now, if I use, sorry, 2 quick other deals. Skill or ability checks other than those cost 1, and attack rolls or saving rolls cost 2.
Gotcha.
So
Well, you can pretty safely assume nothing is going to attack you in the library. Trin is
yes.
pretty much left alone. Myriad comes and goes. People might sometimes sit at the same pretty big table as you, but no one like close enough to see what you're doing. And these challenges are occurring once every day, so the inspiration will refresh.
Okay, so right. Sorry. Once again, D20, roll 20, and it's smarter than I am.
Yeah.
So
Know that feel.
let's go. First, let's figure out what the guy we gave the potion to was
Okay.
before he started out.
That would be...
Because once we know that,
nature is good, local is also good. Nature or local?
go nature.
The another is successful for Myriad.
Oh, and I roll a d6 on top of that.
That you do. So, all told, I'm seeing... we are making it a challenge, not a check, yeah. So if you guys want to throw me 3, I've seen a 19 plus 4 and a successful 8 another.
Okay.
Wait, what are we rolling now?
A total of 3. Because it's a skill challenge, not just a skill check. So you would roll the same 8 another twice.
Oh, okay. Also a pass.
Also a pass. Trin's got a 16 on the second one and a 19 on the first with a plus 4, plus 3. Then there's an 11. Okay.
What's the second D20 that you're rolling?
What is this? Yeah, that's a good question.
Oh, advanced roll. Okay, let's change that to a d6. And we'll see how that works for my next one. Okay, 13 and almost nothing from inspiration. Again, knowledge, nature.
Understood. Okay. Those are pretty good, all in all. Oh, boom. There it is. There it is. There's the magic. I was like, those are all right. Those things.
Those are all right. Boom. I found it.
Alrighty. So, you guys both know that Andoran has, for basically as long as Andoran has been a nation, even before that, even when it was like a Taldan colony, it's always had its share of werewolf problems. It has, mostly they keep to themselves in the north, up in the Fangwood. But from time to time, they'll come down into the cities. There was even a point in time, not that long ago, in the last couple of decades, where the local werewolf population allied themselves with some hobgoblins, and for a while, they definitely rampaged across the countryside, destroyed a couple of little villages, things like that, but they were always driven back. Andoran is also unique in that it has its own breed of werewolves. These werewolves, legend has it, from the knowledge locals thrown around here, that a long, long time ago there was a silversmith who was not accidentally, but he was blooded, you understand, he became a werewolf, and to try to overcome the curse, working with some local werewolf druids and shamans and things, together they created a breed of werewolf through the use of natural magic that wasn't hurt by silver and could tolerate most things. Like in a fight, you would go attack it with a silver weapon and the silver wouldn't cause it to have a severe allergic reaction, but also like a regular sword might bounce off its hide. The drawbacks became that when the moon would wane, and especially during the new moon, these guys would get really, really, really sick and sometimes just outright die. You imagine that's what Garrick probably was, because there was a lot of times where he looked just ravenously hungry, not unlike someone who might be just really, really sick. Now, does that explain the aberrant nature of him? Not so much, no. But it does, with that natural 20, it clues you in that that was definitely 100% the mutagen. Before that, he was just a werewolf that could tolerate silver and a lot of other things as well. I think I made him a token. Didn't I make you a token? Big guy?
Yeah.
Why?
Yes, you did.
I thought I did. I know he himself, Garrick, had a token, but I believe I also made a token liberating from, as I am wont to do, as any Magic the Gathering players on Roll20 can tell right now. There you are. Get over here. Get your butt into Roll20 so everybody can see what he looked like. And I'll put it on OBS as well. So, you know, all you fine folk at Twitch, all you fine folk at YouTube can see it too. Shabam.
Oh, my. Yeah.
Just a lot bigger. And muscles on his muscles on his muscles. And that does take 1 day.
Okay.
Basically just throwing all the books you can on the table and just pouring over them.
That's messed up.
Okay. So we're pretty sure we know what we know what he was.
Mm-hmm.
So now, based off of our observations, we should be able to tell pretty much what I'm going from what he is to what he became with the potion.
Okay.
To what the potion did, and I'm trying to work all the pieces to figure out how to kill, disable, and keep us alive in the interim.
Okay, fair enough. Now that my PDF is finally loaded, I don't know why Adobe Reader was pooping its pants. It's a Silverblood werewolf, is what they're called.
Okay.
Here in Andoran, and they, you guys rolled high enough to know mechanical stuff. Instead of like DR10 over silver, these guys will have like DR 3, 4, 5 over everything. Think like a barbarian.
Oh.
DR5 dash.
Yeah. But of course that comes with they'll get sick when the moon is not around. Anywho, so now we want to try to put the pieces together, figure out how to kill this thing.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to get a good night's sleep.
Arcana is a good one to roll. Arcana and nature. Arcana and nature. Spellcraft is more to identify magic items. This is just straight up knowledge check. So Arcana's good, nature's good again.
Okay.
I hear chokeholds are effective.
Thanks the Gentle Reaper as the degenerate is choked out in his gentle touch. The snap of a neck. Alrighty. I see a 10. Knowledge of nature from Trin. This is a skill challenge, so we'll take 3. The aid another is successful. So that makes it a 14 on the first one.
Okay. I'm just going to roll the other 2, then roll the other 2 inspiration dice.
Sure, sounds good to me. A 14 and a 10.
Oop, unhelpful.
Oh, Myriad.
Wait a minute. Oh, I rolled the wrong thing anyway.
Good save. Fair enough. That is considerably better. And a 4 and a 3 and then a 10. Okay, so as far as putting the pieces together and how to kill this thing, that is a lot more difficult of a question. And the Gentle Reaper shows up on the second day.
I'm trying to help. The fuck is his name? Trin.
Mm-hmm.
I was making sure something worked the way it's supposed to.
Oh, like the macro?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
So I can send him the macro so he doesn't have to roll dice all the time.
Beautiful. Okay, so a Silverblood werewolf, as I said, they are learned folk call it a sort of lunar sympathy. Under the light of the full moon, sometimes they can even be stronger. And when the moon's at least half full, they likewise can be affected. But when the moon is less than half full, it'll start out as fatigue. That fatigue can go even farther to exhaustion, and even like their vital force will drain away up until the moon like comes back. They constantly have to find something to fix that damage. Like in a mechanical sense, you guys rolled well enough, and this guy's pretty strong. I'll tip the fourth wall a little. When the moon is less than half full, a silverblood lycanthrope becomes fatigued during the night. On nights of the new moon, a silverblood lycanthrope becomes fatigued during the day, and each night becomes exhausted and takes 1d4 points of con damage, with the DC 20 fort save to negate. But whatever you gave Garrick was enough to turn him from just a werewolf with an unnaturally silver pelt to a mockery of life, a mockery of humanoid form. And you definitely saw a couple people getting on the boat, though you dealt with them with the powerful use of suggestion, who had been bitten. You assume that anybody Garrick bites and doesn't just tear in half will probably contract a similar sort of curse. Maybe not necessarily becoming as powerful as him, but there will be more. And even the people that tried to attack him in the inn were trained military veterans, and he just made fools out of all of them. So as far as taking him on goes, to be honest, it dawns on both of you that an army is probably what you need, and even then you're expecting casualties, or like tie him up and train a bunch of cannon on him and just fire the cannon on him until he's dead. It's not looking good. And that is the end of day 2's research. I don't know why I did this. Day 2. Now we go to day 3. I gotta not do that. That was weird. Pretend that never happened.
What never happened?
Exactly. Boom. Beautiful.
What Avatar movie?
That's the only bit of Avatar I've ever seen, was the movie. And I took a girl who was really into Avatar to see that movie. That was a mistake, let me tell you. Anyway, day 3. What are we researching now?
Well, now that we know that it's going to, this isn't the sort of thing we're going to be able to take on ourselves. One of his weaker offspring. Right? Do either of you two have ideas? Otherwise, I'm going to have to, well, let's just ask. Myriad and Reaper, any...
I don't exist.
That's the spirit. Just shows up long enough, just, I don't exist.
Okay.
I think. Are you trying to figure out what else to research, or like what
Okay.
do you want to?
I mean, if this is the greatest library in the land, more research onto what the mutagen was, who the dragon is.
I'm definitely interested in the mutagen, but I'm not. I wasn't going to just.
How about why we're having a hard time remembering that, like, the place that we used to live.
Okay.
That's a thought.
Okay.
If that's the
Let's
call, I think I don't want to call that one. No, yeah, it's gotta be a knowledge check. Oh man, I've played enough Pathfinder 2nd edition that I'm really digging lore checks right now because they're super relevant. But
Okay.
for now, nature is fine. I'll let a heal check go as well. Yeah, nature or heal.
I'll go with heal.
Yes, you will.
Boom, boom.
And yeah, so
That
Let me open up the Wikipedia entry for amnesia.
nice.
That's what's going on here. Okay, I don't necessarily need a whole lot of rolls on this one because someone did hit a natural 20 just right off the cuff. You guys begin to try to like figure out what has happened to you guys, and it dawns on Myriad in such a way that like you don't need to research, and that's what the natural 20 is you save the day by like you guys have definitely perhaps by brain damage, perhaps by disease, most possibly also by like psychological trauma, you guys have definitely contracted amnesia. Sometimes that's temporary through the use of like hypnotic drugs and sedatives, and with all the alchemists running around in this meta, that's definitely a thing that could happen to you guys. There are two kinds of amnesia. Retrograde amnesia being the inability to retrieve information that was acquired prior, and Interrograde amnesia is the inability to transfer new information from short term to long term. You think you have the former. It probably... So on Hermia, and your memories of Hermia at this point, because a few days have passed on top of that week, they're fleeting at best. You know it exists, you know like what the common man knows, but that's about it. And like amongst that knowledge, you know that the black dragon, I am the black dragon, the gold dragon Menkar has been for a long time trying to create the perfect human, and in doing so, in a meta where like a spell like restoration is considered a miracle and higher level divine spells are completely unheard of, alchemical solutions are the solutions, and it appears that the three of you were contracted to carry that alchemical solution to the mainland. And the amnesia has come from, you guys can assume, perhaps some kind of like post-hypnotic suggestion, maybe like some kind of alchemical something or another. It's just get the package delivered and then forget all about it. Even like memories of the package itself are fleeting at best, except for that werewolf. That one's pretty burned in, especially when you sleep without some kind of sedative. While this is going on, let me get a quick perception check from the Reaper, the one who's wandering around the city while the bookworms.
Nope, not you.
Oh, fair enough. Natural 1, hero point, natural 2. That's the best roll. Okay, so
I don't like it, but I'll at least take it.
it's better than you die in your sleep horribly. So wandering around as Hatsumi, the gentle Reaper, our vigilante, picks up a lot of rumors as days go on that like a lot of people in Western Andoran are going missing. Its contact between Almus and Augustana has been pretty much cut off. There's a lot of clamor throughout the streets, and you don't catch a whole lot of like faces or proper nouns or things like that, but a lot of Andoran's Eagle Knights want to go to Augustana in force.
Oh man, I could have. With that one, you might have become one of those people that went missing.
And you are shanghaied. It would have been bad. But that's all you get on a natural 2 with a 10. So with that natural 20, again, it's you guys don't spend the day researching how amnesia works, at least for that particular bit of research. Still the third day. What's the next topic?
Oh, okay.
I'd like to figure out what it was we gained as far as the potion itself.
Okay, that's craft alchemy. Definitely falls into that one pretty well. Craft alchemy is good. Knowledge, arcana or craft alchemy, both are fine.
Okay.
I had to move this window over here so I'm not craning around my windscreen to see what you guys roll. 16 knowledge arcana, 16 craft alchemy. So the aid another is successful. So we have an 18 for the first one. Pending inspiration.
And yeah.
23, spicy. All right, 2 more.
Okay.
Oh, not
that
successful.
That one's not gonna quite get there.
Okay.
17, 16, 21. That's very successful. And a 1 and a 4 for a grand total of 18, 23, 16, 18, 22. Okay, so Garrick was definitely given some kind of mutagen, but most mutagens, their effects are fleeting. You take it, and for the next little bit, you're not able to concentrate as well, but muscles on your muscles on your muscles, or like your face might break out in gross oozing blisters and boils and things, but your cardiovascular system will function better. Or what's a good flavor text for lose wisdom, gain dexterity? You're faster, but you're so fast that you stop thinking about your long-term moves. But regardless, it wears off. What you gave Garrick didn't seem to wear off at all, and you imagine that even 10 days out, it's probably still in effect. It's probably a very permanent thing. People were looking for it for various reasons. You know, the mayor of Augustana was under the impression that it would extend his life. His admiral never really gave a reason, just kicked in some doors.
Was willing to kill anything that moved to get it.
Yes, he was. Versio, I believe that was his name. It was Versio or Mercio. I have his name written down. I gotta open that folder. Bam. What was your name? Tercio. I was close. Tercio Antares, the merchant, was under the impression that he could sell it for just all the money in Avestan. Whereas Garrick literally saw it as a cure for a disease. All of these things are probably accurate. But you guys don't necessarily think that any of these people at all had any idea what they were getting into, or that it would turn them into a monster. Side effects, of course, may include, right?
Other side effects may include
becoming a spooky, aberrant werewolf monster. Though it does dawn on you that the aberrant werewolf thing probably is because the medicine was given to a werewolf. Had you given it to just a regular human, you'd just be a spooky human.
Yeah.
And that is day 3.
Okay. Now comes the question. We realize that this thing is alive. And it's going to stay this way. And it's creating more along the same line. Is it time to talk to the head of the university and kind of give her a quick brief of what we've learned?
It is
because at this point we got some. There comes a point where we may need to find a different continent if we don't start doing something on this. And while I hear Tien is lovely this time of year, I don't trust that these things can't make it over the crown of the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it definitely needs to be dealt with sooner than later.
Yeah.
Especially that main guy.
Yes. So, anyone opposed to asking to talk to the headmaster?
We can give her a shot.
Yep.
Now, one thing to remember before you guys go approach her is it dawns on both Trin and Myriad that choosing your words carefully during this time will be very, very relevant because you were in Augustana. You are not Andoran with an E to denote like someone who lives in Andoran. So implicating yourself would be a pretty easy thing to do because even now, like on the third day, Myriad and Trin both can hear outside the university the sounds of protest. And it's like if you were to look out the window, you don't necessarily see like students with beards and signs protesting the war or something like that. It's more like Eagle Knights and their sympathizers, and there are many here at the school because that's the CG freedom fighters of the world want to go to Augustana and deal with it, but the People's Council is not ready to commit their army to it. It's become, and definitely also the Reaper sees this wandering around the streets. It's rapidly starting to boil over. Nobody's happy with anybody who has a different opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, that does put us in a bit of a pickle. So, needs to be dealt with sooner than later. I would personally prefer not to die or be imprisoned for the rest of my unnatural life.
Say what now?
Says
Unnatural life.
the Gentle Reaper as the shadows coalesce into the form of a drow. Say what? Unnatural life. Oh, okay.
No, I figure they would use things to keep me alive longer so that I could serve a longer life sentence.
That tracks.
Here's some sun orchid elixir. Congratulations. You just got another 50 years of perfect health.
Hooray! In prison. Now there's the trade. There's that, like, would you hit the button? 50 years of perfect health, spend it in prison. I will not! Oh, what's the plan, team? Actually, let me get another perception check from the Reaper. A day has passed. I am a generous Tommy. A 17 is considerably better. Okay, so as the Reaper moves around the Liberty District, as the Reaper moves around the Fields of Concord near where, like, all of the main government buildings are set up not far from Ural's Tavern, it's rapidly apparent to you that you'd seen a half-orc amongst the Eagle Knights. He seems to be the most rallying of the, like, those who want to go to Augustana in force. He's taken to Hatsumi recognizes the axes made by the orcs in Belkzen they're less like a straight haft and then blade like you would expect from civilized folk, but like the orc smiths of Belkzen will smith at like 45-degree angles in like 4 or 5 different directions, and Hatsumi does recognize this as a butchering axe. This half-orc has taken to carrying his on his shoulder just everywhere he goes. Some call him a warmonger, some call him a man fighting for the liberties of his nation and his people. And you do catch a name. His name is, and I'll put it in the chat because Tolkien orc names are hard to sometimes spell and pronounce. His name is Grinluke. He is pretty much all the People's Council opposes him, but his uniform is well decorated, not just with the holy symbol of Abadar, but with the holy symbol, or not the holy symbol, but like several badges of honor. Obviously, the man is of very high rank.
Okay. If we're going to speak to these people, maybe we want to look up, what not to say. Look up their culture here.
You guys need to quickly read the charisma skill book like it's Fallout New Vegas.
I
Get
mean,
that magazine, get the plus 10, go.
I mean, we can get a basic history, see what hot button issues not to touch.
Okay, that is definitely a thought. Actually, I like that quite a bit, yeah.
Yeah, that works for me.
Alrighty, that's definitely knowledge local or history. History
Knowledge
is also
nobility?
fine. That can work too, sure. All the above. There are several, clearly. Boom!
Oh.
I need no more. And Tim is killing it. So, the easiest way I can think to word this for you guys is think chaotic good. That's basically Andoran in a nutshell. Though, of course, a place like Almus, by its nature, because this is where the government is, right? It's not necessarily as CG as everywhere else. It leans a little closer to NG in terms of like taking care of the poor and not just doing what you want and having at least a vague sense of organization. By and large, it's just like, don't be terrible. But the bigger point is, like, you guys know that though you weren't necessarily trying to do it, you are responsible. And under, like, if you were taken under truth-telling magic, like a zone of truth or something like that, it would ping. They might not necessarily get the information you want. They want, rather, what with the amnesia. But stuff will ping. They'll know you're lying. So it's one false move is what that crit gets you.
Well, I have a thought. Remember that Ninth Asimar lady?
I remember Anderson.
She might be someone to pay a visit to and say, look, based on what we saw and what we've researched, this is what we think is going on. And this is what we really fear is happening. Do you know anyone it would be safer for us to approach with this information? Because we're not local, and I would hate to be the guest of honor at a lynching.
Fair enough. Let me get a quick sense motive check from everyone who's not the Reaper. I'm sorry, Adam. Adam can make a perception check. Adam is also involved. And perception is a 10 from the Reaper, a 14 sense motive from Trinslan Talazin. Myriads. Okay, so it kind of escapes Trin, as Trin says it, but Myriad, it latches onto you pretty hard that Anderson. Alright, it's 15 out of 14. Good enough. You can pick up this a little better. Anderson has a brother. That brother is a tiefling who seems to be the man in charge at the court of the meek. And you're like, anything you tell her may get back to him. Whether that means he's listening in, whether that means they speak, whether that means that Mimic is more than it seems, blase, blase.
Yeah.
It's... implications may happen. Also, for the Reaper, let's, actually, what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna...
Rolled another frickin' 2.
He rolls another 2. You did, didn't you? Yeah. Blah. Okay, so as the day passes, everything continues to escalate. It gets really hard for Hatsumi to move through the streets. It's not necessarily spilled over into like an open riot yet, but it would not take much. The simple, like the whole city seems to have become just this giant powder keg of dissent. There are several older humanoids and also like much, much younger humanoids, as in like a 10-year-old human boy who have all donned the mantles of the Eagle Knights, whether this be like an old man who's retired and like has dug out his uniform, or like a kid who is aspiring and has dug out like a play uniform. The people by and large seem to side with the Eagle Knights, but like the 1% on the other hand doesn't want to do anything about it, wants to just... Actually, talk has even come of closing the Andishan River, blockading it, closing the gates to Almas, just fortifying and letting this whole thing pass. And all it would take is, like, if a fight got a little too hairy in the streets, and especially a non-human Eagle Knight, if they were to maybe push a citizen a little too hard, or like, God forbid, push one into the Andishan River accidentally and they drown, the whole city would set off.
I feel like I was just given a mission.
If that's how you want to interpret it. Oh, look, a child. Oops. Okay, sure. How does the Reaper want to interpret this? That's a good question.
Well, if I'm walking around, I don't need to go change because I'm not going to walk around as the Reaper. But I would make my way with them letting me or not. I don't really give a care. To how did you pronounce that? Grinlook?
Grinlook. Spelled like Luke, but without the E. There's a big old accent on the U.
Grinlook, and just kind of like put my hand on his shoulder, be like, we need to talk.
Alrighty, with a 15, he does not see through your disguise. You approach him, and even for a half-orc, this guy's pretty tall. It's only the fact that his skin is not that pure green. It's only the fact that there's that little, like, it's just kind of that gangrenish tinge on a human skin that points him out as a half-orc. Muscles ripple on muscles. His arms are bigger than his legs, almost, and he kind of, like, hunches forward, not unlike an orc does at rest, and you move up to him, hand on shoulder, just, oh! Who are you?
Tatsumi, nice to meet you. We need to talk.
About what?
I just moved my finger around all of this.
Okay. That's a good question, actually, Adam. Okay, so I've rolled pretty high. You approach Grinluke at a time where there's, like, enough people are bickering amongst themselves and amongst other Eagle Knights that no one really pays attention to you. Move over to Grinluke, and he nods, just, fine. Lead the way. His butchering accent. Now that you're, like, closer up to it, you don't think you, even, like, as the Gentle Reaper, could pick this thing up. It's gigantic. The blade sits at a really, like, awkward angle on a half that cuts this way and then cuts back this way and then cuts this way again. It's just like a sharpened bit of metal and less like an axe, but you've heard tales of the orcs of Belkzen and what they can do with this thing. He seems content to follow you, though.
So I'll go over to more of a secluded area where someone might be able to hear themselves think.
Fair.
And be like, you make a valid point, but you're not making it the right way.
But how do you propose we do it?
Get an audience.
It appears all of Almas is listening now. It's only a matter of time before the People's Council orders the Eagle Knights to Augustana. This werewolf threat will be dealt with once and for all. He taps a bandolier that's hidden under his tabard, which has Abadar's holy symbol emblazoned over top of the symbol of the Eagle Knights, and several little vials clink and clank, you assume. Just silver sheen, silver sheen, silver sheen, silver sheen. Then this will all go back to normal.
Are you 100% sure that'll work?
Yeah, I can kind of make that check. Yes, of course I am. I've rolled a 7 on this knowledge check. And if it doesn't, he hefts his axe off his shoulder, and as he does so, he has to like swing it around, grab it with this hand to brace it, and then it comes down, and you see that behind the blade, there's a like the haft boop, 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 up, and there's like a handhold here. So it's not so much that he's swinging an axe, so much as there's a blade that he pushes, and it is axe shaped.
That's a very nice weapon, and I've heard stories of what they do. But how well are you put together?
Is that a challenge? Knife here?
I'm not much of a combatant.
I can see that.
Because you seem very gung-ho. I've heard stories of what that thing can do. It's not pretty. It's not natural. It's not normal.
Okay. Bluff check.
Have you heard tales of whatever the thing is? Because I would sleep at the same place they are, so I'm going off of the fact that they would tell me when they got back.
That makes sense, yeah. There's probably a little tag up at the end. But do make a bluff check. He might sniff out whether or not you know more than you are letting on. 11 from you, a natural 1 from me. I'm glad I let you roll
That's
first.
the kind of natural one we want.
Ah,
And
now
again-
you know what it feels like.
Again, I roll. Dude. From now on, Godric's rolling. I'll just add my bonus to his roll.
Yeah, Tim is killing it today. Okay, so Grinluke, you say this and he gets real aggressive, and then he realizes he used the word knife here, which is a racial slur pointed at an elf, and this could implicate him. He kind of like stops short and just, I'm sorry. It's been a long few days, you understand. I didn't mean to call you that. What stories have you heard, please? And he sets his axe down on a nearby bench, and the bench it's obviously made out of like dark wood with adamantine for like the metal bits, otherwise it would give way under the weight of this just massive piece of metal that he just on the ground.
It groans.
It probably does a little just
Well,
Some
if
kid comes along, tries to steal it, and can't lift it. He's like, damn it.
What is Myriad's strength score?
14.
Yeah, you don't think you could lift that if you tried.
I might be able to drag it though.
You could probably drag it. You could probably like turn it into like a plow.
Myriad's strength score is 7.
Myriad would probably die in the act of picking it up. Dead.
I say that like there was almost a full garrison when it attacked, and no one of the garrison survived.
Grinluke's
They
eyes
came
get
equipped
pretty wide.
with silver, and it didn't work. This thing is not of this world. We're not of a natural, unmodified origin.
How do you know this?
I said I didn't fight. I didn't say I was useless.
Then what do you do?
I gather. I spread.
I see.
I do the things you guys forget.
His hackles rise at that a little, but he's already, and Hatsumi knows with that natural one, Hatsumi definitely knows that like if you want to make this guy lose his job or at least face an investigation for racism, it could happen. And it won't be the best for him given his orcish nature. Andorin's pretty forward thinking as far as a lot of the inner sea goes, but there are people that like that dude has had a harder time getting to his place of position because of his green skin. Regardless,
I'm not saying that you guys forgetting things is a bad thing. You just have a different mindset. That's why we work together. Behind every good fighter is a good talker.
Well, you're saying you wish to join the Eagle Knights.
No, I'm just saying I see a problem. I've got skills. I've got skills that you might need. I saw you going down a path that I didn't think would end well. So here I am pulling you aside going, you need to calm it down a little bit and get a counsel. Get someone to start talking. People in the streets doesn't help. I do with like quotation marks. Yes, it says something, but does it say the right thing?
Diplomacy check. Yeah, that seems good. Okay. I do run Unchained rules. This is opposed by my will save, which is not the best. Okay. Your words have merit. I will return to the temple of the first vault, and he taps Abadar's holy symbol. I'll see what we can do. The Eagle Knights will be in touch with you. We may, after all, need someone with your skills, Hatsumi. He stands up from his, he kind of, squat, leaned forward to come down to your level to speak to you, but he comes up to his full height again, picks up his butchering axe, throws it over his shoulder, and begins moving back in the direction of the crowd. He says some quiet words to the people around him, dressed in Eagle Knight regalia, and they all just kind of leave the streets. In the process,
before he leaves, as he's going to get up, I'll be like, by the way, I don't do this for free.
All right. One more diplomacy check.
Don't roll something less than a 4. Rolls a 4.
Okay. Yeah. Oh man, you are just bad rolls today. So he
should have said something before you gave me all the info.
The Andorran government will be in touch with you. We always pay those who work in service of freedom, liberty, and the betterment of their fellow man. And as he says fellow man, it kind of drags a little, because again, you can tell this guy had to fight a lot harder than a human or a half-elf or even a full elf, things like that, to get where he is today. And off he goes into the crowd. The crowd remains. There's still that air of not necessarily powder keg, but folk are uncomfortable. But now that the Eagle Knights are gone, they're just kind of uncomfortably milling. And if there's nothing else the Reaper has to do, no. We will pass on. It's been 4 days, I believe. Yeah, because there have been 4 checks, or 5 checks. 1 was free, so 4. So at the top of day 5, is there another topic of research?
I thought they got 2 free ones.
Yeah, 1 free one. 1 free one, and 1 that natural 20 was to drive home the point that 1 false move gets you guys imprisoned.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you want to give it a shot? I mean, I could probably get out of prison if that happened.
Turn into a fox.
I'm not sure you could. I've got a couple of things I can do. I mean, we could give it a shot.
Okay. Here are my options. Do some hardcore alchemical research to get myself some bigger guns.
You want to do some alchemical research?
Yes, to add things to my trick bag.
Okay. Can you do that? That seems like a good plan, as long as we've got the access to the library.
Yeah, I plan on strip mining the place as best as I can.
I mean, so yeah, let's spend a day or let's spend a couple of days with you doing that. I'm gonna go while you're doing that for the next couple of days. I'm gonna go out and see what's going on the outside world, and then we'll meet back on day 7.
Okay.
Does that sound like a plan?
Sounds like a plan for me.
Okay.
Well, in that case, Myriad goes out into the outside world, and let's see what our kitsune has to do. Is there a particular place you want to go? A particular thing you want to try to see? Things of that nature?
No, I'm just gonna walk around for a little bit.
Okay. Make a perception check then, if you would.
Alright, perception. All the way down. Perception. No.
There are some clouds in the sky today. They are fluffy and white. With a 9, you don't get a whole heck of a lot of much. You know, actually, what you do yet is you wander around the campus, and it's as you move around a little farther, see more things, you realize that a lot of like Eagle Knights and Eagle Knight sympathizers are taking off the streets, and things are starting to boil down a little bit. And as you move through, by and large, a group of people in like in human years, they're late teens, early 20s, which is arbitrary for some of the longer lived races. I digress. Word of someone moving through the streets, cleaning them up. Women are accosted, bad things happen to women, and the people that do bad things have bad things in turn happen to them.
Oh, okay. Sounds
Now, make a sense motive check. Let's do that.
Oh, sense motive.
I believe the party is not aware that the Gentle Reaper is the Gentle Reaper. The party just knows how to... Okay, there's obviously someone moving about, doing good things.
Yeah.
I have no idea. There's another cloud in the sky. It is fluffy and white. That's about all you get, though. At least, like, if you want to stay in the university. Was that a rabbit? Oh! The rabbit turns into the head of the court of the meek.
I rolled 2 2s in a row. That is about the best roll I could have gotten.
Yeah, pretty much.
Don't worry, I'm knee-deep in books.
Yeah. Trying to learn how to make big, powerful alchemical explosions.
So on day 1 of 2, I don't really learn anything.
Fair enough. So let's get those craft alchemy checks then for one more challenge from our investigator trying to cheat the level up system. I need my level 20 bomb now. I'm level 2.
Well, even if I just learn lots of the standard stuff, like how to make a better alchemist fire, it's not going to hurt. How many do you want?
3. A challenge is always 3. 20, 23, 26. Is there inspiration?
That's without inspiration. Yes, I know there's a way to do it, but I'm going to have to try it.
That works.
Offline.
That's how I do them too. When I'm rolling, I never... The macros are witchery, and I don't understand them.
It's
That's pretty...
28, 29, not bad.
Pretty damn good,
I just put it into the note text as a double bracketed roll.
Yeah, you're smarter than
And
me,
then-
Adam. I've learned that from talking to you in person and hearing you talk about science and figure out how we're going to do ship science in that one shot we did in person. And I enjoy being around people that understand like the physical and life sciences better than your resident charisma caster, because I sponge off you guys and I learn that kind of stuff. I digress. Okay, so what happens is those checks are definitely very successful. Trin flips through books on alchemy, books on the arcane arts, books that mix the two to make something greater. And there's definitely a lot of stuff that you could attempt to make. The issue of making it does come down to time. It does come down to how much gold you have to buy materials. You maybe Myriad could donate some more fur or something, and through that you could get like a reduced cost. Maybe you could go talk to Andishan, but of course, again, anything that Andishan sees, her brother will also see. The big one that comes to your mind is a magic item, which is called the Necklace of Fireballs. And that's basically exactly what it is. A necklace of fireballs is, I'll give you the exact flavor text. I'll also tell you it's one of my favorite magic items because I like to play characters with evasion and I like to set the whole thing off at once. Anyway, it's real good. Killed a worm that walks at like level 6. It was... Anywho, it's... When you see one, it doesn't look unlike just like a string or cluster of spherical beads, sometimes with the ends tied together in the back to form a necklace. Not unlike like a necklace of prayer beads that you might see on like a Tien monk, for example. But when one holds the necklace, everyone can see what that strand is. In fact, it's a golden chain from which hang several golden spheres about like the size of a baseball. They're detachable by the one who wears the necklace and only by the person who wears the necklace, and you can easily chuck one, and when the baseball hits where it's going to hit, it detonates like a DC 14 fireball. Several types exist, and by types I mean like the weakest necklace of fireballs one could get their hands on has one 5d6 and two 3d6 fireballs. The strongest has one 10d6, two 9d6, two 7d6, two 5d6, and two 3d6 fireballs. Of course, it's not unheard of to like combine, mix and match, things of that nature, and you probably maybe also could just make like a baseball of fireballs, not necessarily the whole necklace. You also are able to figure out that like if you're wearing this thing and you happen to get hit by some kind of fire attack and you aren't quite able to dodge it, all the remaining spheres will go off at once, which often can have regrettable consequences. The books you go through, there are several cautionary tales of young acolytes who have accidentally dropped one of these spheres, set off the other 7 that were hanging from his neck, and the body was never found because there was no longer a body, right? It just poof, gone. Now,
right, note to self, no smoking.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's this pink mist. That's all that's left.
Also, with Craft Wondrous Item, the ability to cast Fireball and 825 gold, you could make a Type 1. So that's a... trying to find a DC. The caster level is 10th, so it's if you have ranks in Spellcraft, it's a DC...
20?
DC 20, yeah.
Or is it 15?
It would be... The DC would be 15 if you can cast Fireball, 20 if you cannot. And then it's... I'll send you the link, is what I'll do. I'll put the link in Roll20. Because crafting in Pathfinder 1st Edition is 1,000 gold equals 1 day of work on the item. But you can also increase... You can increase the DC by 5 to rush it, I think.
Well, I do have those. Well, I'll ask you in the future offline, but seeing how I could make that DC 20 by taking 10.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's definitely, that is how item crafting works in 1st Edition. You can just like, you take 10, poof, you got it. Very easy to do.
It's really dumb when like a level 11 character can make a +5 tome of intelligence on a 2.
Very, very easy to make. It's the issue of time. And also, Tim and I, Gold 2, yeah. Tim and I were talking about the Pathfinder Unchained rules for item crafting in our last patron chat. And I think we're going to dig those out if you guys ever want to start crafting. So the possibility exists that you might, oopsie, have a magical sentient necklace of fireballs, or other zany, wacky things can also happen to keep the entire party involved, and like not just I'm spending a day, la 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 la, I made a check and here's my item, because that's kind of boring after a while. Anywho, that's the first day. Oh, gentle one.
One of the greatest spells in the game right now, in my opinion, is Trap Soul, because every hit die of soul that you trap is worth 1,000 gold, in crafting magic items.
Oh man.
You literally print money, and all you need to spend is 500 gold for that crystal focus.
Damn. Bear that in mind, kids. This coming from the man who has a 90-page character sheet for his Rise of the Rune Lord's Wizard.
It's not 90 pages anymore because the GM changed his ruling.
So how many pages is it now?
It's only 3 characters now instead of 6.
Oh, okay, fair. So now it's like a 60-page character sheet.
Like 20, I think. I don't know. I haven't put it into a PDF in a while.
Fair enough. Okay, so what's the Reaper doing as this is going on? I've heard one day from Myriad not doing much, one day from Trin learning how crafting works.
Is there... I guess we'll do the stealth thing again.
Sure. Another stealth challenge to go find more degenerates to bring to justice. All right, Batman. 24, 25, 23. You flavored it so well last time. You know, I'm the GM. I also get to flavor things. That's part of my job here at Black Dragon Gaming. Okay, so as the Gentle Reaper makes their way through the streets of Almus, which, as like the day passes, and word from Grinluke does pass throughout the city, things die down. People are still uncomfortable. The people at large, you can tell, still want like action to happen. But it seems the Church of Abadar is going to step in and mediate things between the Eagle Knights and the People's Council. The Gentle Reaper comes upon a familiar face. That familiar face is, in fact, the devil spawn tiefling from before. Now, you don't necessarily know about the... Well,
I don't.
Trin, Myriad, did you tell him about the Court of the Meek? How good of friends is the party?
I probably would have.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then what happens is this man appears on top of a manhole cover. You kind of like turning the corner, no one sees you, and you see just like it almost looks like a pentagram for a second, and then it kind of like, I want to say Bill ciphers. I don't know if anybody's going to understand when I make Gravity Falls references, but it goes very eldritch and spooky-ooky, and everything spins and time stops, and then suddenly here this man is in a puff of smoke. He has ranks and things, Tommy. Roll a d20. He doesn't add 5. He also doesn't see you. At least it doesn't appear that he sees you. He just kind of puff of smoke on this manhole cover, and he's in stride. As he moves, he picks from his, like, somewhere out of nowhere in his inventory, you imagine like a bag of holding, he draws a very wonderful looking 3-corner hat, spins it, puts it over his horns. As he does so, his whole appearance changes, and in place of that's a good idea that I just randomly had. The dice say I can have it. Okay, so the tiefling now 100% resembles his sister, the Azamar woman. And let's get that tiefling visible on OBS. Yes, I'm using Tybalt from Magic the Gathering. Yes, that card is good. It's Insurrection on a stick. I'll always fight for that. Also, I really like that art for this character. Anywho, how do you react, O Gentle One?
I picked my jaw up off the floor and I go to the university.
All right, fair enough. You are able to do so.
We got a problem.
The man does not react. As you make your way in the direction of the university, it sounds like I'm speaking in meta. I don't intend to. The character you recognize as Andishan makes her way pretty much parallel to you, because not necessarily like she's following you, but she's definitely going the same direction. And the disguise, and you're pretty sure you know how the disguise works. It's perfect, down to like the birds Snow White around her as she makes her way up the banks of the Andishan. The people are still milling and very active. Make a hole for her to pass, and she's, oh, excuse me, I'm sorry, I must get back to my shop. There's, and she like kind of stutters and, oh, I'm sorry, I'm all flustered, and off she goes, and everyone just kind of oohs and ahs and coos, and it's flawless. You make it back to the university. At some point, as you're crossing the Molten River, yes, I have to cock my head sideways to read it. No BS, don't judge me. As you cross the Molten River, that's where your paths diverge.
I'll go up to one of the townsfolk and be like, was she born here?
Making a knowledge check. No. Yeah, I guess it's a knowledge check. One of the townsfolk, you're in the nicer part of town. What could you find? I don't necessarily look. There's another Eagle Knight. That's boring. You find the man must be in his late 60s, early 70s. Definitely a human. He looks in her direction as you go this way and she goes that way. I suppose. I don't know. I'm kind of new in town. I'm from Taldor myself. Wanted to start over. See the sights, you know? She's certainly very beautiful. Why do you ask?
60-year-old human? I'll just kind of look at him strange because, like, something intrigued me, and I'm not quite sure.
Okay.
But if I'm hearing things right, you might want to start on the good side of the path. I hear vagrants and vagabonds are having a rough time of it.
The man puts his hands up. Oh, of course. I mean nothing untoward.
And I'll move along.
Okay. You are able to do so. You actually bump into Myriad, I will say, as you're making your way downtown, Faces Pass.
Just grab her by the back of her collar. You're coming with me.
Okay. I'm gonna assume we should establish as a party that Myriad has some kind of tell, because otherwise it's gonna be real hard when you split the party when the party reconvenes. Just because the man of many forms.
All of it, just as a thought, all of his hairstyles have a tuft that's a different color.
Just a little boop.
Like Overlord, the blonde-haired guy with the red tuft.
Fair enough.
I was thinking probably something more subtle, like
The way I
footwear
walk.
or feet are always black with a tuft of white.
Or like one leg is longer than the other, so when Myriad walks, there's that little I know I had it when I was 13, 14. One of my legs grew faster than the other, so I definitely walked like this. Not with a limp, but I would bounce a little. Something like that. It's the party knows it. The party can recognize Myriad in the streets regardless of form, unless Myriad wishes not to be recognized, and you are able to find them. And grab them by the collar, and you're coming with me.
What? Is it what's going on?
So when I get to the university, I'm like, are we 100% sure the Aasimar is a person in and of herself?
Good catch at the end there. I was even if it's a tiefling, it's still a person. Jesus.
What do you mean?
Well, I saw Mr. Tiefling, asshole, poof out of a sewer grate.
Right.
And he turned into the Aasimar.
Wait, what?
Eyebrows go up.
I saw the tiefling poof out of a sewer hole and turn in to the Aasimar.
Oh.
Like on our level of turn into things.
Huh.
That would be your level of turning into things. Turn to the
Well,
next page.
I was mainly going with me and Myriad.
Well, our investigator can cast Alter Self. It's basically the same.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, guess what? We have an extra day. Let's research that condition.
Okay. What condition?
Well, being able to switch between, like, Aasimar and Tiefling?
Oh, okay, fair enough. Well, the
Do they
Reaper,
have
the
bird
Reaper
weapons?
definitely saw what was a hat of disguise go over top.
Oh, okay.
Is that what
So
the
he
tricorn is?
disguised himself as her. So we
He put a hat on and then poof was someone else.
Okay. Well, then never mind. All right, so we don't even know that she is a. So there may just be the Tiefling. Gotcha.
I don't know if that was a good percentage or a bad percentage.
Could be both. Will both of you make a quick perception check? More fun can be had. Oh man, will you stop rolling less than 5, Adam? Jesus. Doing bad
I'm just
today.
gonna need like a permanent buff of fortune. Every
I mean,
roll twice. Take the better.
the stealth checks have been good. The stealth checks have been good. The perception checks, not so much. Oh, Myriad.
If you really want it, you should have one more hero point.
If you really want to not take that natural 3, I guess I wouldn't blame you.
I'm gonna save it because I've rolled a 1, a 2, a 3, and a 4 consistently. That's like a 25% chance to roll a 1. I think I'll save it for the next one.
That's okay. I remember our first session. I rolled a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times.
You rolled your extra. You rolled your extra hero point, and then you rolled my. And then you rolled.
He took all of our hero points.
His point, and then you took my point too.
I deeply appreciate it.
Does
Do they
Myriad want to
stick
make a perception
around?
check?
Sure. I can make a quick perception check.
Do they stick around between sessions?
No. Your second one. You're down to 1, and the ones refresh. If you get a second one for some reason, yes. Like with really good descriptions, like we got at the beginning of the session. That was A+. I'm very proud of you. Okay, so
Is it something I can try?
Sure, why not? All 3 of you can be together. And Trin with the clutch. On a 10 gets a 21. Okay, never mind. You guys just rolled a 3 and a 3 and then a 10. Fair enough. Okay, so Myriad and Hatsumi, I need to start referring to you by your social identity. You're too busy being in shock as you're sitting in this room in the library as Trin's flipping through the book and he looks up and he sees Andishan walk by the window in the library as if not to see you. You see her from somewhere in like an apothecary's satchel that Andishan is carrying. She withdraws a hat and puts on that hat, and now she is Grinluke.
What?
Oh, we need to go right now.
Oh, yeah.
And the
Followed.
thickens.
Okay. Where is it you guys wanted to go?
We need to follow Grimlock.
Alrighty. You guys are able to do
Because-
so. You can get out the door, and he's making his way down the main drag.
So stealths.
That would be best if you don't want to be seen.
Uh,
I prefer it that way.
how's the moon doing?
How's the? It's been just about 2 weeks since it's been just about a week since the last time you asked. Man, I'm so not used to tracking phases of the moon, Tim. I'm gonna poop all over my own meta. The moon it's almost a new moon. I'm gonna write that down now. I'm gonna put that somewhere where I can remember it. At the end of session 3, it's almost a new moon.
So it's not quite a new moon. So
right, like a couple days out. And they need to get a lunar calendar for this game. Well, yes, the main antagonist is a werewolf, so almost new moon. A lunar calendar would be necessary. So I see a 16 from Trin.
16.
Reaper, Myriad. Want to be sneaky?
That's what I'm thinking about. I'll bounce ahead and be like, "Hey, Grinluke, glad you took me up on my suggestion."
Okay.
And does he understand?
He understands. And as that happens, Myriad disappears with that 37 stealth. Trin is a little less confident. Trin is mostly using like the flow of people down the road as like what's like giving him cover from Grimluke. Someone is dying. Who is dying? Stop dying.
It's me.
Stop dying, Tim. Anyway, you approach.
Just fell off my desk.
Everything is horrible. Here's a bluff check. Well, it's not opposed by a bluff check. Grinluke sees you. Well, Andishan as Grinluke sees you, and his eyes kind of like they get a little wide for a second, like kind of like deer in the headlights for just a second. Just yes, you. We've been in touch with the Church of Abadar. It appears they'll be sending a task force soon. Not the full-on invasion, and Grinluke doesn't have his butchering axe at this point. It's just the big, muscly, basically full orc, but not. It appears that the People's Council will avoid their civil war that they think will break out, and we Eagle Knights can still uphold the peace.
So what you doing here?
I am making my way to
Downtown?
Faces will pass. Something, and I'll be home now. Da 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 da. I'm making my way to the People's Council now. A meeting is to be held.
Oh, great. So you want me to tag along?
Of course. Says nothing else, keeps walking. Make another sense motive check. So, the 20 is enough to get a hunch. The biggest, even if you hadn't watched a little Azamar girl pop on a head of disguise and turn into a ranking Eagle Knight, you'd be able to pick out that Grinluke is not who he is because Grinluke is not carrying his butchering axe. In a mechanical sense, a medium creature needs to have 19 strength to carry one. A small needs 17. His is a large butchering axe. He needs 21 strength to be able to carry it. Otherwise, it's big penalties. And you assume a little tiefling girl who might be a little Azamar girl who might be a tiefling man probably doesn't have the strength to carry that prop in the costume, as it were. This will be a good way to identify who Grinluke really is in the future. Oh, hi, Trin. Okay, sure. You can...
I need to use perception to see if I can hear their little conversation.
No, you got an extra one. You're good. Myriad's fine. Myriad's got the stealth score. Myriad can get right up there and catch all of it, and... Myriad has seen Grinluke walking around carrying that butchering axe and can figure the same. Grinluke is, though he's only a half orc, he is very proud of his orcish heritage, and this is probably one of the reasons the dude carries a butchering axe around in the open, and without it, it's wrong, it's off, it's obviously not him. Trin, on the other hand, gets a little flash of insight. And not so much a flash of insight. What we'll say is the wind shifts a little, and it causes the Hat of Disguise to just a little. And when that happens, it, like, Grinluke doesn't notice it, Myriad doesn't notice it, the Hatsumi doesn't notice it, but you notice the blonde hair of Andishan fall, like, just back behind this giant half-orc for a second, and that's enough for you to determine that this is definitely Andishan. It's not like the wind probably would have caught more than one Hat of Disguise, which definitively tells Trin that Andishan is a real person, but Andishan's brother was impersonating her, and now she's impersonating a high-ranking Eagle Knight.
Interesting. Well, I'll continue with my following.
Okay, understood. It doesn't take long to get to where the People's Council holds court. As you guys get there, does anyone not want to enter the building? Grinluke obviously is going to.
I've got a plan. It might not be a good plan, but I've got a plan.
Welcome.
I'm not
Pathfinder.
super happy about it, but yeah, I'll enter. I know what's about to happen.
Okay, Trin.
Yeah, I'll follow. I'll follow in.
Alright.
No one pays that much attention to a guy with scrolls and kind of head down going into council chambers.
That's true. On the subject of that, what's Myriad look like today?
What does she look like now, or what will she look like here in a couple minutes?
How about now? And then we'll talk about in a couple of minutes.
Hey, all I thought was something about dog collars, and Oxylate with dog collars, that's starting to push the limits.
I am a female housewife.
Okay. Very
Outdoing
nondescript,
business.
very
Yeah.
Sure. Alright, so you guys enter. It's pretty late in the day at this point. It's probably like 6:30, 6:45. It's like official court is not in session. It's just a couple of older men and a group of Eagle Knights. They look up as Grinluke walks in with
Entourage?
With his entourage, yeah, because at this point there's no stealth check. You guys are gonna walk through plain sight. There's nothing between you and people who will observe you. And Grinluke sits down at a table, just, well, what is the plan? The oldest person in the room, rather, one of the members of the People's Council, just, well, Grinluke, we're going to send you a group of your best men to Augustana. We've tracked the werewolf problem to a mansion outside the city. We're hoping that whatever's going on, well, its source will be there, and you and your men can track it down, figure out what's going on, and how best we can deal with this problem before all of our nation is up in flames. There's still no word from Augustana. We fear the worst. Grinluke, his hands form a gauntleted fist, and he kind of just, slams it down on the table in what would be like a show of false masculinity that you guys can sniff out pretty easily, knowing that's not Grinluke. But everybody else is like, oh yeah, angry half-orc, sure. By the master of the first vault, it will be done.
I'll be like, if I may.
Everyone looks up at you.
I'll
Looks
get
at
up out of
Grinluke,
my...
looks up at you, looks at Grinluke. Grinluke nods, looks back at you.
Grinluke's sitting, right?
Yes.
As I get up, I'm going to acrobatics to make sure it looks like I actually tripped.
Okay.
And then, as I'm tripping, try to grab onto his, with quotation marks, helmet as I fall.
That is definitely a sleight of hand check, yeah. The acrobatics check it's pretty graceful. The sleight of hand is...
I'm gonna do the thing. I'm not happy about doing... Oh my god.
Oh,
Okay,
I'm not happy about
16.
A 16 is a little better. The acrobatics check is enough. As you stand up, the trip is incredibly graceful. It's enough to where you can like position yourself in such a way that like you're not gonna fall on your face and eat it as you try to do this, but you are, try as you might, incapable of getting Grinluke's helmet off. And instead what happens is you kind of just like, fall and your arms wrap around Grinluke's shoulders. You've seen that meme, you caress the half-orc's butt, he's uncomfortable, and that's not what's happening. But it's kind of sort of the same effect. That's how the crowd takes it. In such a way that they don't like, oh, you're trying to remove his helmet. Instead it's, oh, you like Grinluke. Grinluke looks up and is just kind of like, Hatsumi, what are you doing? This is irregular. Also, everyone, this is Hatsumi. She possesses a set of talents. The room gets a little awkward at that choice of words. And she will be accompanying the task force. Isn't that a she?
No.
Oh man, I've been operating this whole time that was female. I am so sorry. Hatsumi sounds like a female name, and elves are androgynous, and I'm the worst ever. He will be accompanying us. He and his friends, he waves his arm in the direction of the scribe and the middle-aged woman, who I suspect are more than they appear, to this mansion.
So, you're going to send a small force, correct?
Oh, that's right. I forgot to do that. Let me... where is it?
That's to the council, by the way.
Right, I hear you. Waiting to see.
There we go.
This guy's check is beautiful. Well, I'm going to throw some d20s down, I guess. Well, there's a natural one. Okay, so the crowd, as Grinluke and the council, yes, a dozen of our finest men plus you, and the crowd looks at Myriad and everyone stops on Myriad and just, why are we sending her? Grinluke just nods. Exactly. That's why. They are more than they appear.
Meanwhile, that one's going, no.
No, she's gonna die. She's gonna get werewolfed.
So what kind of support forces are you going to send? Because a band of 12 warriors is nothing compared to this threat.
Grinluke, Andishin does a very good impression of what Grinluke looks like when Grinluke is mad, as his hackles rise, and just, by the powers of the master of the first vault, a dozen is all we need. He taps Abadar's holy symbol, and this time, as he does so, you guys are in a building, but there's a window, and like a bit of light falls on the holy symbol. There's kind of that like, oh, permeates the room. It gets a little unnaturally celestially quiet.
Will cough gently. Your Honors, may I speak?
Everyone looks at you.
I have, over the past few days, been doing this creature at the marvelous library at your university. And may I quickly outline for you what we have learned?
Of course.
Okay, I give them the quick breakdown This thing appears to be a silver-blooded werewolf that came in contact with an extremely powerful mutagen that appears to be permanent as opposed to the transient nature of most. From what information has filtered into us, it is creating more of its own kind. And I will repeat what we know of, some of what we know of it. Mentioned that we fled from, I forget the name of the city in
Avestan?
Augustana.
Augustana. We fled from Augustana the morning after it appeared, and people were talking, and people swinging swords and then shattering on its exterior. It's large muscles upon muscles upon muscles, and finally I will look up and who appears to be the senior member of the council. Whoever that is.
It's just like you don't necessarily recognize him, but just like an upper middle-aged human man.
Look him directly in the eyes and say, "And I have not had a good night's sleep since I saw this monstrosity. It chills me to my core."
Alrighty. Make a bluff check, as you might not remember all of it, but there's definitely a little more information there that you're not giving out. Gotta bait those natural ones. That's basically the only way we're hitting it here.
I don't know, you can bait another natural 2.
Fair. That also is a thing that could happen, but did it though? We've got a 14 all told. I'll throw... It's just the one that we're worried about now. The bluff just squeaks by. I've rolled. I don't add that much. The man looks taken aback. If you survived Augustana, you must know more than... We're lucky that you've survived. People like you obviously have a little more to offer than meets the eye if you made it. I'm sure Grinluke has chosen wisely. Now, if there's nothing further, Grinluke, the three of you, you should leave as soon as you can. We've secured, and he snaps his fingers a couple times. As he does so, a couple of... They aren't necessarily servants. Servants aren't really the way things work in Andoran. It's more like... just kind of like... council boys, I suppose. They're not old enough to hold office, but you imagine as they come of age, they might pursue a political career. For now, they're just around it. They bring out...
interns.
Several, yes, interns. Wonderful, best word. Several, about as long as, like, they're probably about 20, 25, 30 feet long rugs. They set them down, unroll them. We've secured several carpets of flying. This will help you to, if you travel by night, cross the countryside, hopefully unseen. You should leave as soon as you are able.
I will bow and say, Hatsumi, Myriad, Trin, and the Asimar's name, because I can't remember it off the top of my head right now, are at your service.
Okay. So you are trying to reveal that Grinluke isn't Grinluke. Am I understand? Okay. Everybody just kind of looks up. You say Andishan, and they're just... Who is Andishan? Grinluke just, what?
So you don't know who Andishan is?
No. What are you talking about?
No. Okay. I just look at Grinluke. Are you gonna do it, or do we need to actually like do this? Does anybody know where Grinluke's axe is? I've never seen him without it.
Alrighty. I want to call for some kind of check, but I don't know what. It's not necessarily. Yeah, we're gonna call it a diplomacy check. Everyone, like...
Jesus.
Oh man, stop it with them. Less than 5s, just consistently, all day for you. You say what you say, and everyone... Metal Gear Solid question marks is the best way I can think to say that. You drive it home, and Grinluke just, well, I left it at the barracks. It's been a long few days organizing this. You guys know this. And he just squeaks out with a 16. People seem to buy what Grinluke is saying.
Can I get a little help from my friends?
Can you get by with a little help from your friends? Yeah, you could. No, Trin's too busy being gone to help, unfortunately.
No, that was to get it behind him.
Okay. Yeah, there's enough of an uproar when Hatsumi says what Hatsumi says that you can not necessarily disappear, but you can be a little quieter.
I'm just trying to escape his notice.
And you can do that, yeah.
He's obviously decided that half is important, so what do I need to roll?
That is a sleight of hand if you want to try to take it off surreptitiously, yeah.
And if not surreptitiously?
If you want to just like then it would be a CMB to disarm him. Or like sunder it, I guess, if you're feeling particularly like proud of yourself. Proud of yourself is the wrong word. Particularly aggressive, I'll say. Draw that sword cane.
Let me see.
Let me go ahead and give it a shot first, real quick here.
Alrighty.
First of all, yeah, and then
away you go.
Yeah. Man, that hat.
Okay, Trin is able to get his hands on it. I don't know why I'm screwing up the genders of my players today. Hatsumi sounds like a female name, in my defense. Also, Myriad misses by quite a bit. Myriad, like, this form is a little shorter than you are used to, and its arms are not quite as long as you reach up. But Trin just kind of moves over, picks up the helmet, and with a shimmer, the half-orc Eagle Knight turns into what that half-orc Eagle Knight truly is, a dainty little blonde Azamar girl. Everyone gets really, really quiet as they realize what's happened. Andishin stands up and, I'm sorry for the ruse, everyone. This isn't how we wanted you to find out. Grinluke and I are lovers.
What?
And Grinluke has... Well, he left. He told me that he wouldn't wait on the council's decision, and he asked me to fill in his place. I know it's not the best. I know when Grinluke returns, of course he has to face the consequences, but I couldn't stop him. Please, just... Can everyone just let this slide for now?
Yeah.
Oh,
God.
Well done, Adam. Okay, so anybody would use the hero point for the Gentle Reaper's natural one?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll toss in mine.
Boom!
Oh! Zero to hero.
Yeah, that is how that works. Okay, so Trin and Myriad both believe what Andishin is saying. She even kind of like tears up a little, and again, to see her face painted like that, as beautiful as her Aasimar features are, like it literally almost hurts. And the Reaper of all people, just like, it hurts so bad to see her this sad, and why did her lover have to go away? And you shake it off, and she is full of it.
Really, is that so? Because if I'm to believe everything is true that I've experienced, I talked to him yesterday and he seemed gung-ho with my plan, which just so happened to match up with your plan that's happening right now, but I can't abide by false impersonation of a known figure.
Okay. She gets real awkwarded out. She stands up. She begins backing up in the direction of the door, just backpedaling as fast as she can. But the Eagle Knights are a little faster, and they go to grab her, like, under an arm, and as this happens, she reaches into... Again, it's essentially just like an apothecary's satchel of holding, reaches in and withdraws some grayish, blackish ball, and she throws it on the ground, and there's just like a poof. Will everybody make a fort save?
Can I have attempted to sleight of hand first, that away from her as she attempted to do that?
Not quite. She's backed up a little too far. I thought about initiative, but she's gonna just poof, make a fort save. That's everyone's worst save. The 18's good, but none of those are good enough. There's a loud bang, and pretty much as soon as this hits, everybody's ears start ringing. A white light envelops your eyes. Several people begin South Parking in response to this. If that's about as clear as much, just rubble. And when your vision clears, when the flashbang fades, yes, Anderson is nowhere to be seen. The head councilman present looks up and just, well, now Grinluke is missing as well. He looks around at the assembled Eagle Knights. Most of them are still in various stages of rabble. His eyes fall on Myriad, on Trin, on Hatsumi. So, I know that you're new in town. Word has reached me of the college and your research, as you say. Can we ask you to go to this mansion in service to the nation of Andoran? Learn what you can, bring the information back to us here at Almus. Perhaps find Grinluke. We will search the city, though perhaps that Aasimar woman is involved with the court.
The court?
It's hard to say. We need answers. The people have been dissuaded for now from rioting over the events in Augustana, but if we don't do something soon, it's going to boil over. Of course, the three of you will be well rewarded for your time. We Andorans don't conscript those. As he says conscript it, like it pains him to say it, without proper reward.
Look to the others.
I'm okay with that.
Slight nod.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that, but I want to do something. I just don't know if I have the chops to back it up.
Oh, based on your rolls today.
I know.
Yeah. Well, you're welcome to try.
What do you want
Sure.
to do?
I am curious as well.
Payment
Whoa.
is nice and all, but if you look at us, we're not exactly the strongest of peoples. Is there any way we could either swap for payment, or in addition, to payment, procure the use of a single item for this mission.
What did you have in mind?
I'll pull out one of my kukris. I hear that you, the religious type, can make this do non-lethal damage. And I'll kind of flip it back and forth in my hand.
Make a diplomacy check.
Oh,
Roll to hit yourself.
you've got to re-roll. You can re-roll.
Just using everyone's hero points is the gentle.
I'd have to use somebody else's. I've already used 2 of mine, and then I think I used yours, Myriad.
No, you haven't used mine. Oh, yeah, you used his.
So there's one more, is what I'm hearing.
So
Yeah, there's one more.
Use it.
See if you don't accidentally like sneak attack yourself to death, flipping your kukri around. Just oh.
Okay.
Okay, 21's a little better. The man just. Why do you want this? Where you're going, there are werewolves. If there are silverblood werewolves, and worse, injuring them may not be or rather, injuring them without bringing them to harm may not be the best idea.
I figured you'd want to study them. But I feel like I do my best work just bringing them down first.
So be it. Of course, the Eagle Knights that go with you will swing to kill at all times in service of Andoran and their fellow Eagle Knights, and you as well, keeping you safe. But, in your case, give us a day. That's enough enchantment, assuming you have the money.
Oh, yeah. As long as we're enchanting things, can we,
Well, that was the whole point, that was part of the payment.
Yeah.
Ah.
Okay.
So be it. We shall deduct 1,000 gold for your non-lethal enchantment.
All right. And then as long as you're doing that, can I buy an enchantment?
The man nods.
All right. Then I'll just. What was it? Oh, I was gonna keen a weapon.
Okay. That would be. They'll give you crafting prices, so it'd be another 1,000 gold.
Okay.
1,000 gold in a day and a check that they can't fail. Well,
So
they could fumble it, I guess.
are we getting a standard merciful weapon with normal item creation rules?
Yeah.
Or are we doing something else?
You're just because an NPC is doing it and you guys aren't crafting it. They're spending 1,000 gold in a day and they both pass the checks. And Myriad will get a keen, whatever weapon he's keening. I imagine like his wakizashi, her wakizashi, and Hatsumi will get a kukri that is merciful. Taken out of her payment when she taken out of his payment when you guys return to Almas.
Because technically that's like an 8,000 gold weapon.
Is that really? It is not.
Yeah, because it's +1 plus merciful.
Oh,
Weapon.
that's fair. You guys would need to get the +1 enchantments first, wouldn't you? Because we're still at level 2. Okay, yeah, that's definitely. Well, they could do it separately. Yeah, no, they couldn't.
Because crafted is for my kukri is 4,100 gold and 6 silver and 7 copper.
Fair enough. Yeah, I forgot we had to +1 them. Okay, it'll take an extra day then, so you guys have 2 days to kill in the city. But it's assuming they don't fumble, and they won't fumble. Famous last words. You know.
I will politely ask for use of the alchemical facilities at the university.
Oh yeah, because you've got 2 days now.
You have 2 days to kill.
Yeah.
The man hands you It looks like it's made of platinum. It's not very big. It's about like the size of like my hand. But it's, well, actually that size of like the palm of my hand. Yeah, it's not a pin, not an amulet, somewhere in between. Like it's, if you were to pin it on your chest and you could, it would be heavy. But it also appears there's like a little boop at the top that you could run like a rope through and wear it as some kind of amulet, also a little heavier than you would think, that identifies you as a member of the Eagle Knights, which gets you a lot of clout here in Almus for sure.
So in other words, it's the official get out of jail free card.
Pretty much.
Bow my thanks. We'll let them know the inn where we're staying in case they have need of us in the interim. And
yes, I know the place. I will talk to the matron and we'll see to it all of your room and board is waived while you're in Almus. It's the last thing you should worry about.
My thanks. Shall we be off? Oh, will we have use of carpet for our insertion?
Will. You guys can see there's enough carpets, like each one seems to be able to hold 3 medium creatures. If there's a dozen Eagle Knights going, you assume that each like group of 3 will have their own, and then you 3 will have your own carpet of flying as well.
Excellent. If we may take our leave at this time, we shall further our plans. If there's information on this mansion, could you please have it delivered to us at our lodgings?
Of course. We'll reconvene here at dusk in 2 days. He claps his hands once, and the Eagle Knights stand up and they solemnly leave the building, you imagine, to like go say their goodbyes and stuff. Should you happen to find Grinluke, tell him to report back here as soon as he can. I'd like to talk to him personally about this Azamar woman.
You got it, boss man.
And now we have 2 days to kill. What? I guess, like, the big question falls to, what does Trin want to do in that 2-day period?
Okay, I'm looking to start piling up the, what's the technical term? Non-magical alchemical items.
Okay.
Like alchemist fire, bottled lightning, acid flasks.
Alrighty.
I'm going into full-scale wartime production.
Fair enough. All right, so we'll call it a skill challenge again, and we'll call it craft alchemy. That's definitely like egregiously violating raw for crafting items, but whatever, it'll be fine. I believe in your skill checks now that all the hero points are gone. So far, so good. 16, 14, 20.
And now for the buffs.
Okay, yeah, that is enough. You, I'm gonna throw, that's 3 successes, so 3d6 at the table. In a day, Trin can put together at pretty much no cost, because as you get back to the university, that pendant medallion apparatus, and as you put it on, it's considerably lighter than you would think. It even kind of like uplifts you as you walk with it displayed, almost to like puff your chest out a little. And doors, not like literally, but doors open for you as you move throughout the university. You don't have to deal with the headmistress. You can get pretty much whatever like inexpensive reagents without having to pay for them, at just entirely on the university's head. And if we're in full wartime production, you've got 8 alchemical items of your choice from... Let me grab a table. I guess I'll just type in Alchemist Fire and see what comes out. Because I've never, ever messed with these before in my entire career. Alchemical weapons. This seems good. 8 of these. I'll jam it and roll 20. Boom.
Okay.
Myriad. Hatsumi. Anything you want to do?
On like day 1, I guess I will go out and look for another play toy.
Alright, that sounds like a stealth challenge to me then.
I don't really have anything I need to do.
Fair enough. 22, 20, 26. Good enough for me. That's 3 passes. What can we run into? Let's see if I can drive the narrative a little farther. Here's another percentage dice. I rolled a 75. Okay, sure. As you make your way looking around trying to find another play toy, you don't find... Hi, Luna. We're playing Pathfinder right now. Hi. You were supposed to sleep for the whole session. You did not. You want to come sit with me? Yeah, you do. We gotta be quiet. You don't find anybody, like, especially fancy or to play with, but you do find Grinluke's axe in a back alley buried under some trash.
That's not good.
It's definitely the genuine article. You go to pick it up and there's just... You could drag it like it was a plow behind you, but that's about as good as you're going to do. Maybe like you and Myriad could together like get up under it and lift it up like as if you were carrying a couch.
Oh, we found the axe?
Yes.
Crap. Okay. So now we are on to seeing if we can figure out what happened to this guy. Anyone have survival? Actually, I don't. No, survival's not a... Is what? Where? Oh, it's underneath stealth, which I have a big thing box. Okay, it was just hidden. Let's see, where's mine? And terrible roll.
Yeah, that's not the best. Even with scent on that kitsune, like you examine the axe, you sniff at it, it mostly just smells like trash at this point. It's you guys are both pretty aware that Grinluke wouldn't be parted from that thing unless he had to be.
That's why I was hoping to use survival to track him, but that's
not quite.
Not good enough. Let me check a thing.
Anything you want to do about it, Hatsumi?
I guess I'll look around the area and see if I can't see anything to denote what might have happened to him.
Okay, make a perception check. Well, already
That's the thing.
Well, we're out.
Out of hero points, you are. Okay, I'm gonna roll a d2. And if I get a 1... Oh, I've got a 1. Okay, so what happens is you look around and you begin, like, sifting through the trash on a hunch. And this natural one, for a split second, I thought the guards are going to show up and they're going to implicate you. But they don't, because they don't show up. But you do. As you kind of kick around a little bit, look through the trash, look around it, you begin to Make a fort save if you would.
Both of us?
Just the Reaper. Just the Reaper.
Okay.
And okay, 22 is good enough. 22 is good. You are able to shake it off, but the smell is just foul. You kick over, whilst holding your nose, a bag of trash, and you find Grinluke's head.
Oh,
it's not
no.
long before, like, digging around a little farther, you can find bits of the rest of him. He has been brutally murdered. His body left broken and in pieces in this back alley. His axe, on the other hand, was definitely in plain sight for anyone to find.
This is going to sound really, really, really callous.
Well, you're playing Lawful Evil.
Yeah. But I'm going to bag him up.
Alrighty.
Yeah. Is this the kind of thing that would push everyone over the edge?
Yeah, you figure.
Okay, then we need to get this stuff out of eyeshot now.
Okay, let's get a fort save for Myriad as well then, as Myriad begins interacting with the bad times.
All right.
That's a natural 18 to get that. That's
fort save.
Yes, it is. All right, yeah, Myriad can't keep it in. Myriad, like, you approach, you see Grinluke, like, as Hatsumi's bagging Grinluke up, Grinluke's head rolls a little, right? And his jaw goes a little, nyeh, and his eyes look up at you, and that's the moment where Myriad loses her lunch. It's pretty loud. There are several. Eventually, it goes to dry heaving. It's easily the most brutal, disgusting thing you've ever seen in your life. You begin to, as you come up for air to go again, you look down and you see, like his thigh has been cut open pretty brutally, and maggots have already just infested it.
Oh.
It's rough.
Yeah.
Bagging him up is definitely a thing you can do. It's both of you are smart enough to realize that you are disturbing a crime scene. If you do so, you are tampering with evidence. You are things of that nature. But again, yeah, if somebody who wasn't Myriad or Hatsumi found this, definitely could go the other way.
Mm-hmm.
And again, you guys are the foreigners. Well, at this point, it would probably tip a little closer to Anderson, but you wouldn't necessarily be, like, above suspicion.
Right.
Yeah, especially now that there's evidence that I was there.
Yep, there's a lot of DNA all over. Well, I guess not DNA from Vomit. I don't know. I'm not a scientist. I am a YouTuber.
It would be there.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Do you want to make a perception check to see if you see anything that we should also grab?
Okay.
I feel like I already made that perception check and killed them.
Yeah, that's kind of what that natural one did. I let it influence the game instead of doing bad things. That's intrigue. Okay, so with a 24 on a perception check, it's Myriad gets herself together, wipes the vomit off her chin, and begins looking around. You guys are in a pretty alright part of town, and that's probably why Grinluke's corpse was not looted. He does still have his amulet, which it's a little bigger, but again, like you've seen Trin walk around with this thing, doesn't seem to slow him down. Bearing the symbol of the Eagle Knights, he also has the ring is clearly made out of adamantine around his, like, left-hand ring finger. Oh, what else would he do? Yeah, that's about... He would have those for sure. Also, on, like, further examining the body, it dawns on Myriad that, like, a lot of the cuts, or some of them are pretty jagged, but they're also pretty clean, and they're also, like, you can tell looking at it that it, like, there wasn't a lot of time spent, like, hack, 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 hack. Now the arm's off. It's like the whole thing came off in one swift, clean motion with a pretty big blade.
Like his own blade?
That is a logical conclusion. Of course,
Okay.
that would probably mean that someone like prestidigitation the butchering axe clean, but that appears to be a possibility. That could be something that happened. He looks like he might have been killed with his own butchering axe.
Okay.
Oh, well, that kind of nullifies the bagging, but
Doesn't, though. We still need to do it.
yeah, we still need to do it. But I was bagging them up to bring to Trin so we could look at them.
Like for an autopsy?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that does kind of, like, you get a vague cause of death. Now, that's not necessarily like, oh, that was definitely his own butchering axe. It could have been another, like, big hafted weapon.
Out of character, I was going, I wonder if he died by claw.
He did not. That you can definitely tell. There's no claw marks on his body, unless those claw marks were very big.
Man, I wish I was there. I have some hints, but
Hey, it's 4:30. Wake up. I don't know whose alarm that was, but I'm guessing 10.
So yeah, I guess we bag up what we can and cover up the axe,
Okay.
and then go stash the body somewhere around the university,
Alrighty.
and then go into the university, get Trin, get him to have a laboratory, and then we can bring the body in.
Okay, sure. You guys are able to do so. There's enough garbage bags there that you can, like, it's not going to smell pretty, and you guys are going to raise some eyebrows carrying garbage across the city, but you definitely can do so, and the smell of, like, if you disguised it enough, the smell of garbage will be strong enough to overpower the smell of rotting orc flesh. There's enough detritus there that it takes a great deal. Actually, will both of you make CMBs trying to move that axe?
CMB.
Combat maneuver
Alright.
bonus.
Pop up here. CMB. Ugh.
Okay, so the both of you together with a 17 and a 16, it's back-breaking work, but you're able to move this just giant slab of steel across the alley in such a way that you don't drag the blade across the ground and make just a loud, attract everyone kind of noise. You throw enough stuff over it that it's going to be camouflaged at least for a while. You imagine it's only a matter of time before somebody comes upon it, but it won't be today.
Yeah, hopefully we can get it gone by then.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at you, Mr. Alchemist, who doesn't have the appropriate level to cast the spell.
You guys,
I didn't know I was there. Am I there?
yeah, you're
No,
at
you're
the
not
lab.
there. But
And-
I'm hiding it going, oh, we can just go to the whatever class name you are. No, it starts with an I. It's
Investigator?
either the investigator.
Investigator.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And be like, hey, I need you to make me a potion of bull strength, or I need you to make yourself a potion of bull strength and go get this thing.
Fair enough. Okay, so you guys do get back to the university. You get a lot of strange looks for sure, carrying trash. And when you get to Trin, you don't smell the best unless somebody wants to stop and presto themselves. But I don't think either of you can. So yeah, no. So you just stink real hard as you show up in the lab. Trin probably smells you guys before he is aware you're there.
It's like, oh, good God.
Playing in the trash.
Actually, I might have a thing. I have to remember how this works.
Drow nobles don't have prestidigitation, do they? No, they don't.
No, but they have levitate.
They do. Oh, yeah, that is a thing, isn't it? Levitate is a spell that you can cast. There goes Drow Nobles breaking the game, everybody. Look what I've done. Uh-oh.
Oh my god, if you have Levitate, I have the perfect idea.
Alright, so Levitate, he definitely can cast Levitate. And that's you or one willing creature or object, a total weight of 200 pounds. That's more than enough.
Alright, and then I become him. And I pick up, I say in quotes, the axe. And
that's a bad idea. It's a very bad idea.
I thought it was the right idea.
I'm like, we already had one person called out.
Oh, yeah, that's fair.
Everybody is looking for him.
Yeah.
That's true.
That is definitely fair. Good call, Adam. I almost let that slide. Oh, okay. Well, you can definitely cast Levitate on a Butchering Axe, and you get it to... What's the duration on Levitate? The duration is for 2 minutes. And I forget how many times a Drow Noble can... I think Levitate is at will. Yeah.
At will.
Yep, so you just kind of tag the axe.
Walk,
continues to float.
Walk.
It moves 20 feet each round, so whatever it is Myriad becomes to carry it is going to have to move a little slow. It's moving at dwarf speed.
Sure.
But what does Myriad become?
A dwarven knight. Is carrying a very similar axe to his.
Yeah, you could do that. It's make me a knowledge local, the Paria, if you would.
Yeah, sure. Let's see.
13. That natural 5 coming back to get you.
This is ridiculous.
And there you go. Okay, so Hatsumi thinks that's an alright idea, but then it dawns on Myriad that, again, Andoran is a pretty forward-thinking nation, but turning into a dwarf carrying a very orcish weapon, whether, like, that's a feasible thing. That could happen.
Okay.
But, like, it's going to raise a couple eyebrows. The common man would assume, like a dwarven war axe.
Why don't you turn into...
I could become a dwarven...
Half orc.
Not dwarven. I could become a half orc.
And just go be a lame oracle.
Yeah.
Have your legs. Your legs will up.
We could put like a sheet over it, and I could become like just like a mover, and just have the thing like on my shoulder, like it's like I'm moving a piece of furniture.
Okay. Yeah. Sure. That also works.
Which do you think would be?
Both are probably fine. Actually, you know, it might be the second one might be a little better. You would have to you need to go like drop off the trash, come back. But then in that case, what you could do is you could turn into like a mover, and you and Hatsumi are moving something or other, and that means that Hatsumi could keep her hands on. Damn it, Hatsumi can keep his hands on it to like tag it and levitate again. I don't think Levitate doesn't have it's personal or close, so Hatsumi doesn't necessarily have to touch it, but it might be a little easier to like get away with. People might not necessarily be like
as I feel it getting heavier instead of just walking around and you going, hey,
the sound of Myriad clinching as the weight just
oh god!
The sounds of vertebra going out of place.
That's what would happen.
Oh, that's fair. Okay, in that case, let's get.
I can talk to them, because the first thing I'm going to tell them is get a cart. In the cart. Bring it here.
The voice of practicality over here. That also tracks. You could. There'd have to be a pretty solid cart, because you guys definitely. Well, you guys. Hatsumi definitely saw before Grinluke was killed. He put his axe down on a dark wood and adamantine bench, and it creaked and groaned a lot. You might not, you might not necessarily get a cart so much as like a horse-drawn wagon. That could also do it.
Yeah, a horse-drawn wagon might do it. I think it'd be easier just to do the mover thing.
Okay. In that case, let me get a disguise check for Myriad and bluff checks from both of you. Disguise check is super good. That's natural 4 plus 30. Okay. And I've rolled a 3. Okay, fair enough. Yep, so you're able to do so. Myriad, as normal, is just perfectly able to turn into whatever, whenever, with very few consequences. As you guys are moving the thing across the city, it becomes pretty obvious to Myriad that Hatsumi could do a better job of feigning the levitate spell when the weight like comes down a little bit, and there's definitely that moment of like this happens, as like maybe not this, maybe more like this, as the weight like kicks back, and then Hatsumi will kick it on. But the people who notice don't notice and think, oh, they're up to no good. They notice and they think, oh, they're carrying a heavy thing and I don't want to help, so I'm going to get out of the way so they don't make me help. And then they just kind of turn the corner. And you guys do make it back to the university with Grinluke's butchering axe.
And now,
someone else's
what is
problem.
magical?
I'm sorry? Oh yeah, you are a drow noble. Excuse me. The ring, the amulet, and the axe, all 3 do detect as magic.
Oh.
I give this information to Trin. I don't know what it does. I know it's fancy.
Somebody told me this was a wand of CLW. Maybe you can use it. That was a good day.
I can use that.
Hooray!
I can use my disguise check to in place of my use magic device.
No, damn. Oh, damn.
That's dirty.
That is dirty.
That is literally, I don't care, I'm using it.
Yep. Emulate
Tommy,
every alignment.
Before the next time I play one of these, we got to talk about giving me something absolutely disgustingly overpowered.
Hey, you're the only caster in the party. Give it like 5 or 6 or 7 levels. You'll get there. You'll be the strongest. Hold person is always good. It might be hold monster in this meta, but anyway. All 3 of those items do detect as magic. Trin does have access to Grinluke's remains and some trash. Lots of trash.
Okay. Well, I'm pretty sure that he died from multiple sharp force injuries, but
it actually would almost appear like blunt force trauma behind a sharp edge, as what you assume was his butchering axe came down.
So
If I'm following everything right, that's a heal check and 3 spellcrafts.
Yep. Sounds good to me.
oh, I have a fresh pull. So heal.
Okay.
And spellcraft.
Yep, 3 spellcrafts.
Ring, axe, amulet.
Okay, the ring, like I said, the ring is with a 22. That's good enough to identify it. It's made of a solid piece of adamantine, and the fact that you found it on what remained of his left hand on his ring finger does imply that Grinluke did in fact have a wife. The ring itself is a ring of protection. Nice! 6,653 inspiration. It's definitely a ring of protection +1. The second one was the axe, I believe.
Yeah.
The axe is a... yeah, that would get them both. It is a +1 impact butchering axe. +1 enchantment is obviously a +1 to attack and damage. Impact lets the weapon deal damage as though it were 1 size category bigger, and it is in fact a large butchering axe. Grinluke didn't have that much of a problem carrying it, but the thing is, you would imagine it more like in the hands of like a giant. Mechanically, it's the weapon does 46 points of damage. Crit is 20 times 3, but you need at least 21 strength to wield it, and it is an exotic weapon. The amulet is you almost no. The inspiration is enough, so you don't choke. The amulet is an amulet of natural armor +1. And now that you're thinking to look, you realize that the amulet that it was only given to Trin, so Trin could get into the university, but is the same thing.
I'll take it.
Grinluke's axe is worth quite a bit. Impact is a +3, if I remember correctly, enchantment.
It's not cheap.
No.
Yeah.
The first thing we need to do is send a runner. Okay, talking to the other guys.
Sure.
We need to send a runner to the Eagle Knights, have their senior guy come, show them what we found. We all need to tell them where. And because...
And then explain, of course, that we didn't,
that it wasn't us.
That we took that stuff away because, if
for the city not end in a fiery glow.
Exactly,
The barrel of black powder isn't sitting next to the fire, but a spark could still set it off.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't necessarily have to give him back all of his stuff.
Yeah. We're not giving him back the ring or the amulet. We will talk about the axe though, because that's magical.
The axe is actually it's a +2, not a +3 impact. So in total, it has +3 enchantments on it, which is I think it's 24,000 is what +3. It's been a while since I've thought in this meta.
Okay.
It's not that expensive.
But also,
that's pretty big for us.
A butchering axe itself sets you back 65 gold. This one's large, so it's closer to like 130. But it's definitely Grinluke's. People will recognize it. It even now that you guys have looked at it closer, it still makes a whole lot of no sense, as a lot of orcish weapons do. It's just kind of make blades sharp, kill things, do good. Yeah, but there's a sort of beauty to it, to its savagery, and also they're like the blade cuts down like this, and there's definitely the Eagle Knight symbol just right on it. It will definitely, if it doesn't identify as Grinluke's, it identifies as like a guard's weapon.
Yeah,
it would be difficult to sell, is what he's saying.
Yeah.
So let's see what they have to say. We'll let them know about the axe, but then we'll talk about it.
I figure we need to bring the person here.
Well,
so there's no. Yeah. So there's no.
You're the one with all the university clout.
Yep.
Well, both of us, really.
Oh, graduate student.
Exactly.
Yeah, no shit.
TA, I have a job for you.
And so it was. We can establish a little sub-theme here, I think. Let's roll us a D3 and see what kind of thing appears. 1D3. The dice says a 2. That means I'm pulling... I haven't done this since I needed to generate a random character for way back in the day. That's one of the featured races. 10, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, so this sounds a little weird, but I'm going to say, Adam, roll me a D16, if you would. I know, it's weird, but I need a random. Rolled an 8. Okay, so the 8th one down on D20 PFSRD in the featured races column. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, sure. It had been 2 more. It'd have been a full orc, but it takes probably
not be at a university.
Nope. It takes about like an hour for this little gnomish boy to go running and bring back a man who he turns the corner, and you guys can almost feel the heat coming off him before he turns the corner, and you see him. His eyes are a brilliant reddish yellow, but that's not the first thing that pops out. The first thing that pops out are his horns that come up like almost like Texas Longhorn out and over. They look too big to be of any real use unless someone were to like battering ram him, but they're definitely there. His skin is a like charred and crackly like lava that has cooled. He stands about as big as a human, a little on the lankier side, and he has a pair of scimitars dangle at his waist. He wears Eagle Knight regalia. He approaches and he sees, the first thing he sees is Grinluke's axe, and he moves just, oh, Grinluke. Oh, I am sorry to hear of his passing. The man makes, it kind of like crosses himself, but like as we would see crossing himself, like the over here are a little higher up.
Is that a Suli, by the way?
It is not a Suli, but you can identify it with a knowledge of the planes. You can also identify the symbol with a, well, no, it's a core deity. He crosses himself in the style of a Serenite Ankh, and just, may he find grace with the Dawnflower. I will inform everyone of his passing.
I also give him a map marked with the area where he was killed.
He nods, thank you, my friend. I shall inform the men of Grinluke's passing.
I would say do so quietly, if at all. Things are still very tense in the city.
The man nods, again, with horns that are like, they almost look too heavy for his build, but he, like, they're either hollow or there's some kind of magic going on that, like, nods, and of course, we shall keep it to ourselves, but they deserve to know. Now, tell me, did you find his ring? I assume his wife will want something to, remember the big lug by. The heat that this guy puts off is quite a bit.
Oh, you didn't tell me what I found from my heel.
Oh, from the heel check, it's pretty definitive on a 22. Yeah, he was killed by maybe not necessarily his own butchering axe, but something around that, like that size and that ability to damage, somewhere in that bracket. As far as like a definitive, it was that you would need, like, you assume the weapon would have been prestidigitationed.
Yeah. What saddens me the most is that it appears that his own axe or something very similar was used.
What? What are you saying? He moves forward. He's going to make a check. What class is he? He's that class. A quick identification of class, and boom! And his eyes go a little wide as he begins looking over the remains, and it was definitely a large weapon. I know very few who could lift one such as that, and the man moves forward and he picks like one hand on like the front handhold and one hand on that haft. Like he can't necessarily pick it up to wield it, but he can like get it to like waist high before he gets real like unstable and has to like set it down, and as it gets to the bottom he lets go and it just slams on the floor. As you see, even myself, I prefer the weapons of the Dawnflower. Tags the two scimitars at his waist. I will inform his men. I will, again, the ring, his wife.
I'm not sure. His remains.
Would you know anyone that could use this axe? We could sell it to them really cheap, like for a quarter of the price that it's worth.
Okay, so if it wasn't super clear, I'll say again that like the man standing before you is definitely an Eagle Knight. The little gnome boy has went and got him. He might know. He might take grave offense if you're like trying to sell that weapon.
All right. Damn. All right. Well, it's up to you guys whether you want to give out that ring or not.
It's ring of brought 1.
Yep. Ring of protection +1. Or more specifically, it was his wedding band that he got enchanted, so he could wear it as part of his uniform.
Me as the player, I say give it all back, because get us more down the line with the Eagle Knights.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So you guys return the wedding ring, and the man. Actually, can I get a knowledge of the planes from everybody, real quick?
I mean, maximum 10, but let's see. So 10.
Fair enough. That 15 equals 10. A 24 from Trin and a 0. How'd you roll a D0 and get 0? Hatsumi, what have you done? How you do this?
I don't have knowledge planes.
Oh, so you just throw a D0 at me? Okay, fine. Fine. Okay, so both of you, Tatsumi's a smartass and doesn't know anything. Myriad definitely identifies some sort of geniekin, but Trin, especially Trin being a Siriani, can put the nail on the head real fast that this guy is an Ifrit, and the horns indicate a very direct lineage from a true Ifrit, because they do have that big old like crown of horns that he seems to have inherited. The Ifrit takes the ring and says, thank you. He looks at it, turns it over, kind of like polishes it a little bit. Poor Kavaya will be glad to have this back.
And say, do you know what we should do with the axe here?
He looks at it, looks at you, kind of like cocks like a half smile. Do you want to help me carry it? I fear I could if I must, but you know it is late, I am hungry. I could try. He gets kind of like a false sense of bravado and cockiness to you guys without sense motives can tell that the man's covering up the fact that he's lost a friend.
Oh. Well, I can't lift this, but Hatsumi can.
Fine.
Let's
boop. Belong.
Boop. So with that boop, that's enough that the Ifrit can carry it.
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah.
Was there anything else you want to say?
If you wish, we can store it here and have a cart or a wagon bring it where it's needed.
I believe our magical friend will be enough to help us carry it all the way back. Just he's gonna make a knowledge check.
Yep.
He's relatively trained. Just to be sure you do not let that levitate spell expire my poor legs, you see. You understand. And he carries it with your help from the lab in the university, yes, all the way back to the Eagle Knights headquarters, where a group of much bigger humanoids, a couple of they appear to be just like a human man and woman, but there's a lot more muscle on them than you would think a human body could like support. And betwixt the two of them, both of which have several tattoos running like up and down both of their arms, and he has his hair like up in a mohawk. She has her hair like just kind of unkempt in the front, and the back is braided down to her waist. They are able to, the two of them, even with muscles on their muscles, struggle to carry this butchering axe. It's back to essentially behind closed doors. You imagine it's going to go sit in a weapons locker alongside that ring of protection. No one asks for the amulet of natural armor, his badge of office. It's assumed at this point that the three of you have enough clout with the Eagle Knights that you could definitely Like you could wear it and no one would say boo about it.
Before he leaves, I will say in ancient Assyrian, Ani, please offer prayers for his wife and her loss.
Why, yes, I do speak ancient Assyriani. He kind of cocks like a half smile, and it's as this smile hits, it's weird to see an Ifrit cry. They are capable of producing water. It's basically just as human as like Trin is, or Myriad. But there's a bit of steam rolls down. It's as if water ran down lava. Just, of course. Grinluke will find his way back to the first vault. Perhaps the gods will be kind to him. The poor bastard. And the man disappears. So you guys have one more day before...
When I get to the weapons vault, I'm going to stick around and be like, yeah, I know enough about you Abadars to know there's always a cost.
Okay. The weapons vault it's directly affiliated with the Eagle Knights. Grinluke was Abadaran, but they are not. And from the Ifrit, like from him doing the Serenite cross, and like even it's kind of stereotyping to say from his accent, but he's somewhere from like Kadira or eastward, and sounds like a very dyed-in-the-wool follower of Serenite. You imagine Morris going to be like, this weapon's going to sit until it's kind of been sword in the stone, I guess, is one way to put it, until somebody comes around with the strength score to wield it mechanically.
Right, but I also, I essentially carried it all the way back there, and he would have had to pay money.
Make a diplomacy check. You horrible person.
I am a horrible person.
Yes, you are. Yeah, no, they just kind of...
Pecan rat.
Make a yeah, kind of. Let's get a knowledge nature from the three of you. Yeah. Will you stop? Just say you can't roll it. Don't spit a 0 at me, you coward.
And you absolutely can roll it.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, so Trin nails it. Here at the end of days, Trin just right on. As Hatsumi says what Hatsumi says, the two burlier individuals in Eagle Knight regalia, they turn, and the man with the mohawk and the woman with the braided hair, both of them, before your very eyes, they bulk out even more. Both of them, they're like where an orc would have tusks. It's the same idea. They just they sprout out of their mouths. But it's not like orc tusks, it's more like the tusks of a boar. The Reaper has no idea, but realizes he's not getting any money and gets out of there. And Myriad... Kitsune and Skinwalkers are pretty close to each other in terms of how things work and stuff, and Myriad is able to identify, that's kind of like me, but it's Trin that hits the nail on the head. These are rage-bred Skinwalkers. These are... Somewhere in their family line, there's a werebore, and they produced down the line, much like Celestial is to Azamar, as Infernal is to Tiefling, as Lycanthrope is the Skinwalker. They are known for their tenacity. They are known for their quick to anger sort of ways, and you can they both the floor is made of stone, and they're both wearing boots. As the shift happens, as one of them puts their foot down, and you've heard them walk before. They sound like walking people, but they put the foot down, and there's the sound of a hoof as it hits the floor, and it kind of kicks back a little, as if it's stamping and about to charge.
Hatsumi, are you still in the area?
Hatsumi!
If so, I will look at you and say, go now.
What?
I will turn to them, bow, and say, I'm sorry. Here's our heart.
Both of them You say this, and they kind of shake their heads as this happens. Their tusks recede. They go from being just really burly, or they go from rather being super burly to just really burly. And they both just, we're sorry too. You understand, right? We lost a friend. Grinluke was, well, he wasn't one of us. He was more, but especially these days, we skinwalkers are. Well, they look at us different. And they just kind of, like, storm off, the two of them. Anywho, so there's one more day. We started a little late, so before we close out, is there anything anyone wants to do on the last day before we ship out to that mansion?
Did you want to make that fireball chain thing? Did you have a day?
He's got one day. He could make a type 1 necklace of fireballs. He could attempt the check.
I could, and I also would like to put some poisons together, but we'll have to figure out exactly.
Okay. So it would be one or the other, because it would take 8 hours of uninterrupted work to make a necklace of fireballs. And a spellcraft DC...
How many necklaces, or how many fireballs does he get for that?
A type 1 necklace of fireballs would get you one 5d6 and a pair of 3d6 and you'd have to pay this out of pocket because this is a little more powerful than magic. Well, you get it a little cheaper. It's normally worth 825 gold. You think you might be able to squeeze 6.
Okay. But it's up to you.
And I'm kind of in that torn in between the humongous explosion, which is a maybe I make it, and the I know I can do poisons, and they can do a lot.
Yeah. I imagine the whole party. No, actually, I think Tim's ninja archetype did trade out safe poison use. I think.
Yeah.
It did.
Okay, well, the serial killers got it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And Hatsumi and I have already discussed that there's a certain drow substance that he would be willing to teach me, and if I can improve on it, I will keep him back.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Let's what we'll do is we'll have one final skill challenge. Assuming Hatsumi consents, it's we'll call it a knowledge, history, or local, your call. Well, it's a drow noble thing, or nobility from Hatsumi, and a craft alchemy challenge from Tran. If you guys both pass, you can figure it out. Because that's a pretty powerful poison. We have to put some kind of gate behind that at level. Oh, look at that. Okay. So one big failure. Make 2 more, Adam. Is a challenge. 3 checks. Okay, yeah, everything else is pretty good. That one natural one's bad. There's probably a moment where like a little bit of it gets botched in the telephone game, so you can't necessarily improve on it, but between the 3 of you in that last day, you can work out more or less how drow poison works. You can't get like the exact ingredients because like you'd have to go down into the second layer of the Darklands. You'd have to go down into second Mina. And that stuff just isn't really available, but you can put together a pretty solid stand-in. And I'll throw 2d6 down.
33.
Fair enough, yeah, that's super good. And boom! 8 doses of basic drow poison. At level 2, no less. We've done it. We've broken the game. Anyway, final actions, Miriam.
About time.
Haha.
Nope, I don't have anything.
All right, fair enough. In that case, we started at about... Yeah, we're sitting in, like, at the time I get done saying that we're signing off, it'll be at the 3-hour mark. So that's all we got. Next time, we will see our first dungeon crawl, maybe our first bit of encounters here at the package. Oh, by the way, go to level 3, guys. That's good enough for me. You have made level 3. Lots of stuff has happened. I'm not ashamed to say that a lot of that was not necessarily like improv of the story, but it dawned on me at the very last second, like, what if Anderson was just a hat of disguise? What could we do with that? And it made a lot of... That was a blast. I really enjoyed GMing this style of game as opposed to just running and gunning. As always, Adam and Tim and Jason, thank you guys so much for your support. Jason actually is gonna join our Pathfinder 2nd Edition Gestalt game, which is starting with its prologues next Tuesday. It'll be here on Twitch as well at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time this coming Tuesday. We're gonna do some prologues. It's gonna be me and the Goblin Bard Paladin with a harmonica and a glaive, so that'd be sweet. Be sure to check it out. And if you haven't followed us on YouTube yet, it's Black Dragon Gaming on YouTube for all your Pathfinder 1st and 2nd Edition content. And that's all we have for today. Say bye, guys.
Adios.
Bye, guys.
Later.
And no more streaming. And no